shortstop. Josh Tolley hits second and does the catching tonight with David Wright back in the lineup. Look out for a possible home run in this ballpark simply because he has a history of doing that upon coming back after a day off. Carlos Beltran hit 3 home runs yesterday. He'll be in right field. Jason Bay in left. Daniel Murphy to start at first base, batting 6th. Justin Turner is the second baseman. Jason Friday will get the start in center field, and Dylan G will start for the Mets and bat 9th. Now for the Astros, Michael Bourne leads it off at center field. Clint Barmas, didn't see him. He was injured the first time through, and he'll be at shortstop. Hunter Pence is having a great season. He'll be in right. Carlos Lee in left. Brett Wallace, the first baseman, with Chris Johnson at third. Bill Hall bats 7th to play second base. Humberto Quintero is the catcher, hitting 8th. And Bud Norris is on the mound, and he is batting 9th. Well, we have a great night for baseball. Hope we have some good baseball games between these two ball clubs over the course of the next 3 days. And the Mets are back home on Monday night, and they'll be home next week as they will take on the Florida Marlins and the Washington Nationals. Let's get to the action here in Texas, and with a little extra bounce in his step today, once again, here's Howie Rose.
Yeah, throw in an extra 43 degrees, and that'll do it every time. Mets have had a little more bounce in their step since the last time they saw the Astros, too, because you'll recall that Houston won the first 2 games of that series at Citi Field, and then the Mets won the series finale. That was the beginning of a 6-game winning streak, and including that game, the Mets have won 12 out of their last 19, so they're hoping that just the sight of the Astros will spur them to some similar streak, despite the fact they're dealing with some pretty significant injuries here. Once again, they have decided to wear the alternate black jerseys for this game, while the Astros, nicely clad in their home whites with the pinstripes and the black caps, as Bud Norris gets into some silent thought facing out to center field from behind the pitcher's mound, and now climbs up onto the rubber to get this game started against Jose Reyes. Switch hitter, batting left-handed. He was 1 for 5 yesterday. It was a big hit in that game. And the right-hander Norris's first pitch hit hard on the ground through the hole, base hit right field. So the first pitch of the game. And Reyes holds it first as Hunter Pence plays it in. That was an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, brought to you by Time Warner Cable Wideband Internet. Make the giant leap from broadband to wideband. And one of the reasons that the Mets have had a lot of first-inning success this year is that Jose Reyes has gotten on so often. The Mets have scored the 5th highest number of first-inning runs. And now Josh Tolley will hit second for only the 4th time this season. A left-hand batter. He says he loves hitting up here. First pitch on the way, taken low inside, a fastball at 90, 1 ball and no strikes. Now, he's going to like hitting here for obvious reasons. Of course, you've got a base-stealing threat on first, but as Tolley is a left-hand batter, and the first baseman Wallace is holding against Reyes, that opens up a nice hole on the right side. And the 1-0, change-up low outside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Tolley is a very patient hitter, so he'll get into a lot of deep counts, but that comes in handy when you're batting second, and you might want to give your base runner a chance to run. It's 2-0 here to Tolley. Reyes not going, and the pitch taken right down the middle for a called strike, a fastball at 92, and it's 2-1. Tolley will not start tomorrow. Instead, Ronnie Paulino will catch R.A. Dickey. That'll be a 4:05 Eastern time first pitch tomorrow, and then 2:05 for the first pitch Sunday. Quick throw to first, and Reyes is back standing. Defensively, the Astros have Brett Wallace at first, Bill Hall at second. Clinton Barnes is the shortstop, and Chris Johnson is at third. Carlos Lee, Michael Bourne, Hunter Pence left to right in the outfield, and Humberto Quintero is catching Bud Norris, the 26-year-old right-hander from Novato, California. Another throw to first. He's out. Reyes picked off by Bud Norris. Well, it was a quick throw over, a low throw, but that ball was short hopped by Wallace, who had it waiting in his glove for Reyes as he got back to the bag.
That was a real moment of hesitation on the part of Reyes, and what that tells you, he wasn't paying attention. Even though he looked like he was looking at the pitcher, he was caught by surprise on that move by Bud Norris.
So now it's 2-1 to Tolley with 1 out, nobody on, and a breaking ball, wild swing and a miss. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We might remember earlier in the week, Jose Reyes was caught sleeping off of first base and was picked off.
That was by a catcher.
Yep, here's the 2-2 pitch, a breaking ball down and in to Tolley. The count 3 balls and 2 strikes. So, Tolley now batting with the bases empty. Norris 1-1 lifetime against the Mets. The outfield straightaway. And it'll be a payoff pitch to Tolley. It's on the way, and it's inside and low. A breaking ball, ball 4. So with a slider, and Norris has faced 2 batters. Not retired either one of them, at least not at the plate, but only 1 on because of the pickoff of Reyes. And that'll bring up David Wright. So we'll see how much 2 days off wound up doing for David and his sore back and shoulder. Wright is just 2 for his last 18, 4 for his last 27, batting at .234 with 5 homers and 16 runs batted in. Norris works from the first base side of the rubber and deals a breaking ball off the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. A little tight slider there from Bud Norris, who is making his 8th start of the year, 2-2, with a 3.16 earned run average. And he's been striking out a lot of batters. The 1-0 breaking ball hit on the ground to short to his right. Barmes fields it, throws to second 1, hauled to first, double play. Side retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. Middle of the first inning. Mets nothing. Astros coming up on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Let's go Mets! FAN!
This is Pat Mark.
We head to the last of the first inning. The Mets did not score in the top half, and now Dylan G will make his 4th start for the Mets. 2-0 with a 3.80 earned run average. He's got about 21 tickets paid for friends and family tonight. Michael Bourne leads off, left-hand hitter, and takes right down the middle. A fastball for a called strike. It's 0-1. An 88-mile-an-hour fastball there from Dylan G. Bourne hitting at .261. And G deals, fouled back over the screen, a fastball, and it's 0-2. You got to shorten up against him on the infield. He's got great speed, and he's tied for the major league lead in steals. But now with 2 strikes, David Wright can drop back at third as G goes into the windup, and here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled back to the screen. And the count still 0-2 to Michael Bourne, to be followed by Clint Barmes and Hunter Pence here in the last of the first inning. Remember, G's last start on Saturday was a bit of a surprise to him, and he handled himself very well. The 0-2 off the outside corner, a changeup, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was Chris Young's scheduled start, but he couldn't get loose. So G had to hurry up and get ready as a substitute. The 1-2 on the way. Fastball punched towards third, foul ball. They got jammed, and it rolls down the third base line, 1-2. But for all of the hurrying up that G had to do, and the Mets knew that they would hear from Major League Baseball if they tried to delay the game for him, he acquitted himself quite nicely. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball fouled back to the screen. He wound up going 5 1/3 innings, giving up 7 hits, but just 2 runs. And so he's one of only 8 pitchers in the majors who have worked both ways as a starter and reliever with his level of success. 1-2 the count to Bourne. And now G delivers. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3. So Bourne down on strikes. 1 up, 1 down. Clint Barmes coming up. Take a look at the Mets defensively. They've got Murphy at first, Turner at second, Reyes at short, Wright at third, Bay, Friday, Beltran left to right in the outfield. Starting battery brought to you by Interstate, outrageously dependable. Visit interstatebatteries.com. Find a dealer near you. G is pitching and Tolley catching. And now Clint Barmes, the shortstop, right-hand batter. It's a fastball in the air to right field. Not too deep. Back a step. Beltran waiting. And he makes the catch. 2 men away. Everyone has 3 credit scores. Freescore.com gives you scores from all 3 credit bureaus, plus a complete credit profile and 24-hour credit monitoring, allowing you to fix inaccuracies. 3 credit scores, 1 place. Freescore.com. And now Hunter Pence, the right fielder who's been red hot. He's on a 15-game hitting streak, which is the longest active hitting streak in the major leagues right now. 3 years ago, he hit in 16 straight, but he's batting at .307. 5 homers and third best in the league with 31 RBIs. Right-hand batter. First pitch, breaking ball, low outside, 1-0 to Pence. Pence has hit extremely well here in Houston. .346 average at Minute Maid Park. which can be real friendly to power-hitting right-hand batters. The 1-0 on the way. Fastball downstairs, 2-0.
I can't get over how different it looks with the outfielders. Look how shallow Jason Bay looks as compared to Coors Field. I mean, it seems like he's playing shortstop in this ballpark.
It's quite the polar opposite, at least in left field. The 2-0 on the way, a fastball of the knee, strike one called. It's 3:15 down the left field line here. They've got a 19-foot wall, which features an out-of-town scoreboard and then several rows of seats above it. They call the Crawford boxes. The 2-1 curveball tapped foul down the third base line, 2-2. They call them the Crawford boxes simply because they are located along what is Crawford Street outside the ballpark. And right-hand hitters can get fooled, jammed, get out in front, and still pop one in there for a cheap home run. 2-2 on the way. Line towards left field, moving over Bay to his left, makes the catch, and that retires the side. Nothing across at the end of one, no score on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
And switching to guy.
We head to the second inning with no score here in Houston, and let's hear the reaction for Beltran. Carlos stepping into the box now. I don't think the PA announcer has announced him yet. And if he has, this is the most indifferent I've ever heard the crowd for Carlos Beltran. Wow, no recognition. Switch hitter batting left. The first pitch taken low, a fastball 1-0. Of course, Carlos had a career day yesterday with 3 home runs at Coors Field. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Line to right, coming on Pence. He's there, and he makes the catch, 1 man out. Beltran became the third Met to hit 3 homers in one game, and only the second to have hit all 3 of those home runs with at least 1 man aboard. Dave Kingman, when he hit 3 home runs against the Dodgers in June of 1976, was the other Met to do that. That was quite a performance by Dave Kingman. And now Jason Bay, the batter. Fastball for a called strike, 0-1. And I start to mention that because he was on his way to threatening Roger Maris's record that year until he ripped up his thumb in July. The 0-1 on the way. Breaking ball low outside, 1-1. I think, Wayne, he had over 30 home runs when he tore ligaments in his thumb. I believe it was the 19th of July, 1976. He might have given that record a little bit of a test.
He was an amazing athlete. Pitcher at USC as well as a slugger.
1-1 to Bay. Off the outside corner, a slider. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Makes his home on the Nevada side of Lake Tahoe because Lake Tahoe is actually right there with California meeting Nevada, and he lives on the Nevada side.
2-1 pitch in for a called strike. Fastball to Bay, and the count even now.
An intriguing guy. Sometimes you didn't know how to take him. I probably ran into him a little later in his career in the early 80s.
2-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. A slider strikes out Jason Bay for the second out. First strikeout for Norris. 2 out, nobody on. Daniel Murphy coming up. Mets hit those 3 homers. That was Beltran yesterday. So Hyundai and their dealers donated another $300 to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund, benefiting the New York Presbyterian Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital. Hyundai's total contribution at $3,100. So here's Murphy betting at .255, 0 for 3 in yesterday's game. First pitch and a changeup high, 1 ball, no strikes.
You talked about Kingman's performance against the Dodgers. I guess the lesson learned there, don't ask Tommy Lasorda about that performance.
Yeah, that's one of the all-time greats. The 1-0 on the way. Hit on the ground, back to the mound, grabbed somewhat defensively by Norris, who underhands to first in time to get Murphy's side retired. Nothing across, middle of the second, no score on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
White.
Last of the second inning with no score. Dylan G retired the Astros in order in the first. And now Carlos Lee leads off here in the home second. A right-hand batter with power. And G's first pitch is a fastball low, 1-0. Lee on a 6-game hitting streak, batting just .229, though, with 3 homers, 20 runs batted in, and he's closing in on a milestone. The 1-0 on the way, hit hard left side, through the hole, base hit left field. Picked up by Bay, and Carlos Lee now gets a little closer to that milestone. That is career hit number 1,998. So 2 to go for Lee to pick up 2,000 career hits. First hit, first base runner for the Astros. It brings up Brett Wallace, the first baseman. On the road, off the road is brought to you by Dodge. They're Dodge and they're never neutral. Mets are on the road now. They'll be off the road on Monday when they return to Citi Field. Brett Wallace, left-hand batter, takes inside a breaking ball. 1 ball and no strikes. That's going to come home for a couple of mini-series. 2 games with Florida, 2 games with Washington. And that's the whole homestand. Then 3 at Yankee Stadium and 3 at Wrigley Field before they get back to New York. Wallace hitting at .328, left-hand batter, and a slider down and in, 2 balls and no strikes. Wallace, out of Arizona State University, grew up a huge Oakland A's fan. Favorite player was Eric Chavez, now down with an injury, foot injury, as a member of the Yankees. 2-0 the count. The pitch, foul back over the screen, 2-1. Mets baseball is brought to you by RE/MAX of New York. In today's challenging economy, you need to work with the best when it comes to buying and selling real estate. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Visit RE/MAX.com today, your foreclosure and short sale experts. Taking a look at some out-of-town scores, let's start in the American League because the Tigers are leading the Royals 3-0 going to the 6th inning in Detroit. Justin Verlander, in his first game since pitching his no-hitter in Toronto last week, has no-hit the Royals through 5, testing Johnny Vandermeer's record. The 2-1 way inside, a fastball, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. So, pending whatever he did in his start prior to the no-hitter, that is at least 14 consecutive hitless innings for Justin Verlander. Johnny Vandermeer, when was it, 1938, when he pitched back-to-back no-hitters for the Cincinnati Reds? I think it was 38. Here's the 3-1. Outside ball 4. He missed badly with a fastball. The Astros cooking something up here in the second. Have runners at first and second, nobody out. In the National League tonight, Florida leading Washington 4-1, bottom of the 4th inning. Gabby Sanchez, John Buck, and Mike Stanton have all homered. St. Louis 3, Cincinnati 0, bottom 4 in Cincinnati for Kyle Loesch. Bronson Arroyo pitching for the Reds. Chris Johnson, the third baseman, a right-hand batter who's been struggling. First pitch, curveball way outside, stopped by a sliding Tolley moving to his right, and it's 1-0. Johnson batting just a .185 after a solid rookie season last year when he hit .308 with 11 homers and 52 RBIs. Mets would love to get a ground ball here and try to turn 2. The outfield is straight away and the infield set back. And here's the 1-0. Fastball downstairs, 2-0, and that's going to prompt Josh Tolley as well as Jose Reyes to trot in and check in on Dylan G. Brian Howard hit a 3-run homer in the top of the 1st in Atlanta off of Brandon Beachy. Braves got 1 back in the bottom of the 1st against Cole Hamels. 3-1 Phillies there in the bottom of the 2nd. Pittsburgh didn't score top of the 1st in Milwaukee. James McDonald against Giovanni Gallardo. And if you want to know how Clint Hurdle is changing the culture in Pittsburgh, he benched Andrew McCutchen for not running a ball out the other day that got away from a catcher on a 3rd strike. 2-0 pitch, fastball right down the middle, a called strike, 2-1. McCutchen is so talented. He was only hitting in the 220s anyway. But generally, he seems to play the game with verve and passion, and made a mistake there, and whatever happened before, that didn't matter to Clint Hurdle. He made an example out of him. 2-1 pitch, hit on the ground towards the left side, and on through a base hit, charged by Bay. Lee coming home, Bay's throw to the plate, the slide, he is out at the plate. Going to second and holding there is Wallace. Johnson on at first with a single. A solid one-hop throw from Jason Bay nails Lee. 7-2 at home plate. But with nobody out, And Bay getting to that ball as quickly as he did, I think it's fair to question that decision, Wayne, of third base coach Dave Clark.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. The ball was picked up. Now, there was a surprise element there because Jason Bay didn't figure Carlos Lee to be going. So he actually had to kind of look up as he took in that baseball, and it wasn't as smooth a transition as I had thought on that turn at third base by Carlos Lee. That was a poor decision.
So now Bill Hall, the second baseman, takes a curveball that's inside. 1 ball and no strikes. He got that tag down just below the right kneecap of Carlos Lee, who's a big fella, but didn't try to bowl over Tolley. Wallace at second, Johnson at first, 1 out. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball hit high in the air down the first base line, slicing towards the seats, a foul ball. And out of play, and the count 1-1. Later on, San Diego at Colorado, Arizona at Los Angeles. And this afternoon, the Cubs with 5 in the 7th and 3 in the 8th clobbered the Giants 11-4. Cody Ross hit his second home run for the Giants. Right here, no score. 1 out, last of the second. Brett Wallace, the runner at second. Chris Johnson, the runner at first. And a 1-1 count to Hall. G delivers a curveball that's a little bit high. Ball 2, 2-1. In the American League, the Red Sox lead the Yankees 2-0, playing the bottom of the 4th at Yankee Stadium on, in part, Adrian Gonzalez's 8th home run of the year was a solo shot off of Bartolo Colon. Played Buchholz working for Boston. G looks to second. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball chopped slowly toward short, waiting on it Reyes. He's got it, double clutches, his only play now to first in time to get Hall, and both runners move up as Wallace goes to third, Johnson to second. Reyes appeared to juggle just a little bit, hoping to have a play at second base on Johnson, but when he failed to come up with a handle cleanly, he decided to take the out at first.
For all of us who have spoken for a living, and there are days where you start to speak, you could be a teacher, you could be making a speech, you could be doing baseball play-by-play, and you know it's going to be tough to get every little syllable out. That's the way Reyes is playing right now. He did it on the bases, he's doing it at shortstop. He's just not with the program. He's just going to have to battle his way through it.
Does that mean we need to bring him into the booth?
No, I don't think so tonight.
Humberto Quintero takes outside ball 1. All he's got to do is listen to me, and he'll be back on that field straightened out in no time.
But you know what I'm talking about. You know, there's an element he's missing tonight. He's just not focused.
Quintero batting at .259. He's the number 8 batter, so they could work around him here with first base open, but he pops one up to shallow left. Reyes on the grass, makes the catch, side retires. So G gets out of trouble with some help from a nice throw by Jason Bay and a questionable decision by Dave Clark, the third base coach. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left, and at the end of 2, it's the Mets nothing, the Astros nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
We head to the third inning here in Houston. The Mets and Astros are scoreless, and Justin Verlander is human after all, Wayne.
Yes, he did not get his second consecutive no-hitter. Johnny Vandermeer did it in the year that you mentioned, 1938. Well, he was pitching with the Cincinnati Reds, but Verlander gave up a triple to former Yankee Melky Cabrera tonight.
You know what? Madge was rooting against him, and for a good reason, because he knows me very well. We'll explain in a moment.
Justin Turner leads it off, and he takes a fastball strike from Bud Norris.
Madge said, now, do you really want him to pitch a no-hitter? Because if he does, that'll be 2 straight, and then all Howie's going to do is...
The pitch is chopped foul, third base side.
Going to be whining about, he's got 2 in a row, and the Mets don't even have 1 in 50 years.
That is exactly what he said.
And he's right. I can't argue with him. What is this, game number 38 of this year? 7,844 games, including this one, and not 1.
Pitch on the way. Look out. That's up and in. A fastball right underneath the chin of Justin Turner. The batting helmet came off, and that red hair. And he's got long red hair, very thick red hair. And it took him a while to put that batting helmet back on. He's not back in the batter's box quite yet.
I don't know how he avoided getting hit.
He looked out at Bud Norris saying, what was that about? 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's a waste pitch. And the delivery is a breaking ball, poke foul off to the right. 15th batter of the game is Justin Turner. Geico wants you to know that a 15-minute phone call can save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. That was quite a look out at the pitcher by Justin Turner. He's 269. He's driven in 3. And I'll say this, he's done a nice job defensively at second base. The 1-2 pitch and a breaking ball is swung on and missed. That's the slider, and down goes Turner for the first out here in the 3rd. And that is strikeout number 2 in the game for Bud Norris. 1 out, Jason Friday coming up. You had mentioned Harmon Killebrew's name earlier, and it won't be much longer that we're going to have Harmon Killebrew with us on this planet. What a tremendous home run hitter. He struck out an awful lot with the Minnesota Twins, but what an absolute wonderful human being. A teddy bear of a man, really. The pitch on the way, and that one squirts to the backstop, ball 1.
I don't know how many times you might have met him in your travels along the way. I don't think I ever actually met him personally, but I did a radio interview with him some years ago, and I left that, 15, 20-minute conversation feeling as though I'd known this man personally forever. It was so warm on the air.
1-0 pitch, a swing and a miss, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. I actually worked with him back in the early 80s with the Oakland A's. Wow. He was a broadcaster with the A's. But the funniest thing I ever saw him do was react to a Billy Martin radio show that I had to do 5 days a week. The pitch swung on, popped up in the air to center, and it is the second baseman who go out, Bill Hall, and nonchalantly make the catch. He's got his mouth guard hanging out of his mouth as he makes the catch on Friday as he pops up, and that'll bring up Dylan G. But the news had spread that this is after Billy had been in Texas and didn't show up at the baseball game. Well, he was the manager, but, he didn't show up. He was out with Mickey. They were out having a few drinks, and he, being Billy, arrived at about the 3rd inning. And he thought everybody should keep that as a secret. There was no secret as Dylan G takes the fastball low, ball 1. Well, obviously, the writers, Kit Steer, who has been in New York for quite some time writing, was one of those reporters. The pitch is high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes, writing for the Oakland Tribune. And the next day in Kansas City, after leaving Arlington, Billy wanted to know where Kit Steer was. He was going to air him out. The 2-0 pitch, fastball to strike 2 and 1. Instead, he couldn't find Kit, so he decided, well, today's the day. We're going to do my Billy Barton show. That's what he said. And he absolutely went after Kit Steer and anyone else.
Was the
fastball strike.
Was the word pal used by Billy?
Oh, yes. He was very upset. So it was really great radio, theater, for about 5 minutes. And I had to play that for Harmon up in the booth. The pitch fouled back at the count 2-2. And he goes, no, play that part again. Because we had, it was a cassette recorder in those days. Not at all like they do now with the digital works and all that. And he kept wanting to play it back and forth because Billy really was at his best. And Harmon Killebrew lost it in the booth. Play it again. Here's a breaking ball. That's a called strike 3, and Dylan G is out. 2 strikeouts an inning for Bud Norris. 1, 2, 3 go the Mets. And he has retired now 7 straight. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. We're still scoreless in Houston at the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
Wow.
Brought to you by freescore.com, reminding Mets fans that we all have 3 credit scores, and just one bad one can keep you from getting the loan or line of credit you deserve. To get all 3 of your credit scores, log on to freescore.com today. We go to the last of inning number 3, and it's Bud Norris set to lead it off. We're scoreless here in Houston. 2 hits for the Stros and 1 hit for the Mets. The pitch is a breaking ball that floats over the head of Bud Norris. That's ball 1. That was not by design.
Yeah, nothing retaliatory there for the pitch to Turner, not when it's a curveball.
Norris, a right-handed hitter, takes the fastball. That's in there for a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. We were talking about Johnny Vandermeer and throwing those 2 no-hitters in succession in 1938. Here's the 1-1, and the pitch is outside. 2 balls and a strike. Apparently in the second one, and I didn't quite know this until researching it a little bit tonight, that Vandermeer walked the bases loaded in the ninth inning. The pitch outside. Now it's 3-1 to Bud Norris. And he got Leo DeRocher to pop up to end the second no-hitter. I never knew that.
I didn't know that either.
The pitch. That's outside, and Dylan G walks Bud Norris after he missed badly with the curveball. And the leadoff man aboard for Michael Bourne, who can bunt not only as a sacrifice, but he can also bunt for a hit. He puts a lot of pressure on the infielders. And with Daniel Murphy still not quite an everyday first baseman, he's going to be involved. He's going to have to play in front of the runner. That is Bud Norris at first base. Here's the stretch, the pitch on the way, and a full swing and a foul back. And it's 0-1 to Bourne, who struck out his first time. Bourne, most dangerous when he is on the bases. Tied for the most steals with 13. Of course, Reyes has 12. And he's already been picked off tonight. 0-0. The pitch. Fastball, and he's jammed and pops it up near the Mets dugout. That's friendly territory for Wright, who reaches in, can't make the catch as he leaned over the railing and tried to make a palms-up catch. And it looked like it hit off the heel of his glove and went into the crowd beyond the dugout. He had friendly territory. He had some help. He just couldn't hold it. It did hit off the heel, really closer to the thumb of his glove.
Yeah, and then his momentum had him leaning heavily over that padded barrier, and he was basically unfolded by Ray Ramirez, the trainer, and propped back up.
The 0-2 pitch is a line drive back to the mound, knocked down by G, turns and throws. He's going to throw too late to first. Scooting there for an infield hit is Michael Bourne, and Norris will take second. And that'll go as an infield hit. A wicked line drive hit right back to G. And Ray Ramirez, who you just mentioned, Howie, along with Dan Warthen, is heading out to the mound to check on Dylan G. That was a shot hit right back at him. He nearly made the play. It was that fastball tailing away, and it hit his backside. If he had the wallet in the back right pocket, you get the idea. That's where he was hit.
I think he was so angry about being hit, he threw a ball to first base he really didn't need to throw, because against the speed of Michael Bourne, he had no chance to get him realistically. And you run the risk, of course, of throwing the ball away and allowing the lead runner to go even further. But G, after taking a warm-up toss, tells everybody he's okay. And so they're back in the dugout, and G's ready to go.
He is looking over at David Wright, looking to see what kind of defensive play will be put on perhaps here in a bunting situation, you would figure, for Clint Barmas, who has struggled a bit since coming back. He's hitting just 194 coming into this game. He flied to right his first time, the former Colorado Rocky. He's out of the Evansville, Indiana area, not too far from Don Mattingly. Here's the pitch, and it's a breaking ball. He squares the bunt and takes it high. Ball one ball and no strikes. Barmas was always a clutch hitter. Got off to a tough start here because he broke his hand, hit by a pitch. Took him a while to come back, but here he is, and he's playing shortstop tonight. The lead runner is the pitcher at second base, Bourne at first. Here's the pitch. It's bunted in the air and back to the backstop. A foul ball, and it's 1-1. With Wendy's 99-cent everyday value menu, you can get all of your favorite tastes for less, like the cool and creamy Frosty and crispy chicken sandwich. Come see how good 99 cents can taste at participating Wendy's. 0-0. In the second inning, the Astros had runners at first and second. However, on a base hit to left off the bat of Chris Johnson, Carlos Lee was sent, and Jason Bay gunned him down from left. And they left two runners on. They've got the first two runners aboard here, and a balk has been called on Dylan G by the second base umpire, Chad Fairchild, who had a bird's eye view of it. He was right there watching, and Dylan G has balked the runners over. He had a little herky-jerky motion. He kind of leaned towards the third base area, kind of just leaning like a tree in the wind. And he has balked the runners over. Boy, he's played a little giveaway here. And Barmas, who has 2 RBIs, now has a chance to swing the bat. Daniel Murphy has to play up a little bit. Now they're telling him to back up a bit at first base. Here's the pitch on the way, and a breaking ball is in there for a strike, and that's the best breaking ball he's thrown in the inning. The count is 1-2 to Barmes. You got Hunter Pence, a terrific hitter, up next. 0-0, bottom half of inning number 3. Norris off to his lead at third base. Bourne at second. A swing and a miss on a good off-speed pitch away, a curveball. And out on strikes is Barmes. So there was no clutch hitting on his part there. And Hunter Pence, the batter, who lined the ball to left his first time up. And I'm telling you, he hit the ball hard.
Wayne, this guy has been so hot. Ordinarily, you don't walk somebody to get to Carlos Lee, but even with Lee now on a 7-game hitting streak, I'd have to think long and hard about giving Pence, even here in the third inning, as early as it is, I'd be very careful about giving him anything to hit here. You could double up Lee.
Only Lance Berkman and Ryan Howard have more RBIs than this guy, 31 of them. Here's the pitch, and a breaky ball outside, bounces up there, and Tolle takes it in. They were very cautious on that first pitch.
You see, if you're going to do that, then you almost are better off just putting him on, because then you run into the possibility of a wild pitch or a ball that Tolle boxes around.
Going to have to be a bit of a Houdini act here for Dylan G to keep from being scored upon. 1 out, runners at second and third. The pitch, and a fastball is inside, and it's 2-0. So he worked the curveball away and a fastball inside. You get the heart of the order up. Between these next two guys, you've got 51 RBIs right there. And Pence has 31 of them. G working out of the stretch. Can he get him to fish after one? Here's the pitch, and a breaky ball is low and outside, ball 3. They don't want to have anything to do with it.
They might as well just put him on now and not even attempt another pitch, because all you can do is make a mistake. Would he be swinging 3-0 to pitch right down the middle? You got to think he might be.
I would. 15-game inning streak, those 31 RBIs, this ballpark, this moment, this count. 3-0 pitch is a curve, and it's over for a strike, and that was a good curveball. It's a fastball. He might go after it. Tremendous break on that curveball. G, known in the minor leagues for strikeout capabilities, comes set, he delivers a curve, and that's hit off the end of the bat, foul up the first base side. That was going to be a very dangerous proposition defensively for G and for Daniel Murphy if that had stayed fair.
That's not a ball you want to be going after, though, if you're Hunter Pence in that situation. You need to be aware of what the pitcher's trying to do to you with first base open. And, he's so anxious to deliver these 2 runs at least that he went after a pitch he really shouldn't have on 3-1.
This guy's tough because he's used all of the fields. Came in the game hitting over 300. Here's the pitch, and a breaky ball is over his head and taken in by Josh Tolle. That could have been sent to the backstop. So it's a walk with 1 out. The bases are loaded. That's the 3rd walk by G already. And remember, he walked the leadoff man, the opposing pitcher, Bud Norris, to start this problem. Dan Warthen out for his 2nd visit to the mound already in this game. And the batter is Carlos Lee. He is 2 hits shy of 2,000, but that's not what he's thinking about right now. He's thinking about RBIs. And G's going to have his hands full with this veteran right-handed hitter.
Well, it's Dan Warthen's doing all the talking here. Is he telling him to be aggressive and go right at Lee? Or are you going to work to try to get him to hit the ball on the ground? Already grounded into 3 double plays.
And he is an aggressive hitter by nature. So Lee, who singled in the hole to left field his first time up, will stand in. Pence at first, Bourne at second. Those are the 2 speed burners. And then you've got the pitcher, Bud Norris, 90 feet away at third. 1 man out. Here's the pitch, and a fastball in there for a called strike 1. And that was a case of a veteran hitter looking for a breaking pitch. He's had 15 career grand slams, and he's turned it up a notch. He's hitting .320 lifetime with the bases loaded. So he's a tough man at the plate right now for G. The pitch, breaky ball, and a swing and a foul off the end of the bat. And it rolls over to the on-deck circle, and it's 0-2. So at this point, G has made 2 outstanding pitches. Lee looked like he was looking for the breaking pitch on the first one and took it for a strike. Now swings at the breaking ball and just got enough wood on it to foul it off to the right on the ground. 0-2. G ready. Here's his pitch. Breaky ball hit in the air to right center field. Going back with the play is Beltran. He makes the catch. Tagging at third is Norris. He comes in to score. Bourne tags at second. Heads to third. Staying at first is Pence. It's a sacrifice fly, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Astros. Carlos Lee was thrown out at home plate on a base hit by Chris Johnson in the second inning and makes up for it, taking that breaky ball the opposite way and more than deep enough for a sacrifice fly. RBI number 21. Now it's Brett Wallace coming up. An infield hit has been the only hit in the inning. 2 walks, a balk certainly didn't help. Brett Wallace the batter, and the left-handed hitter takes inside, ball 1. So 2 almost inexcusable mistakes on the part of Dylan G to walk the opposing pitcher and then balk him to third base. That's very odd. Down 1-0. And the right-hander deals it. A chopper towards first. It's fielded by Murphy right along the line. Goes 2 steps back to the bag. Steps on it, and the inning is over. Boy, the Astros could have blown it open here. They left 2 men on in the second, and they leave 2 more men on here. 1 run, 1 hit, and the 2 runners left on. And at the end of 3, it's 1-0 Houston on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Let's go, Mets!
We're coming to you live from the Peerless Boilers broadcast booth. Visit peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you. The game started off auspiciously for the Mets when Jose Reyes, on the first pitch of the game, laced a single to right. But moments later, he was picked off at first base. The Mets haven't done much since. A double play ended the first inning. 3 up, 3 down in the second and third innings. And for the first time tonight, they find themselves trailing 1-0. Bud Norris delivers, and a fastball is low. Reyes showed bunt, didn't offer at it, and the count is 1-0. Bud Norris, 2-1 with a 1.65 ERA in his last 5 starts. He delivers a fastball low, and again, a bluff on the part of Jose Reyes on that bunt. So it's 2-0. 1 run on 3 hits for the Astros. No runs on 1 hit for the Mets. That 1 hit was the Reyes single, then picked off. Norris holds that baseball in that glove right in front of his chin. Now he builds into his motion. The pitch is swung on and popped up. Into shallow right. Out goes the second baseman. Hall now comes in a few steps, still on the outfield grass, makes the catch, and a pop-up on a 2-0 count, and Norris continues to mow him down. He's retired 8 straight, and Josh Tolley coming up. Norris has pitched very well here. How about to a nifty 1.40 earned run average at home? So this is the ballpark that so many pitchers detested pitching in. The late Jose Lima hated it. The pitch is in there for a strike at the knees, a fastball to Tolley, who questions that call a little bit. Angel Hernandez behind the plate. Outfield straight away. The pitch, fastball, and that's hit on a line and caught at the shoe tops by the third baseman, Chris Johnson, who had to reach down. He didn't have the palms up. He had him down and caught that ball. And a line drive is out number 2 of the inning. Now David Wright into the double plays. First time, 6-4-3. 4th inning out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K. Donate your car today at carsforkids.com. Howie and I were happy we weren't in Wrigley Field today. It was a miserable-looking day. Tougher for the Giants. They lost 11-4 to the Cubs. Ryan Dempster had 11 strikeouts in that game. Cody Ross did hit a home run, but the conditions were miserable. Pitch on the way, a fastball caught on and missed, and it's 0-1. Florida jumped out 3-0 on the Nationals. Now it's tied at 4-4 going to the 6th inning. Gabby Sanchez, Mike Stanton, and John Buck of homer. Fastball off the outside corner, 1-1. Lance Nix starting to heat up. And another home run, a 3-run shot. Again, that's 4-4 Florida and Washington in the 6th. The pitch. Inside, ball 2-1. And Bud Norris saying, where did that one miss? Thought he picked up the inside corner. An oblique for Brandon Beachy. Forced him to leave the game tonight for the Braves. Breaky ball outside, and it's 3-1.
Who doesn't have an oblique injury?
I'm starting to feel a little twinge myself. You're right. Everybody's coming down with it. 3-1 pitch. Look out. Breaky ball inside, and David Wright will walk. Well, that wasn't a very good job of pitching by Bud Norris. I wonder if he got a little upset with home plate umpire Angel Hernandez.
Well, he wouldn't be the first if he was.
That's true. And look what he just did. He walks David Wright to get to Beltran, the hottest man in a Mets uniform right now. Hit the ball well his first time, lining to right.
And you heard the little, rather understated booing for Beltran. You have to understand that since he became a Met, right up until now, every move that he ever made in this ballpark was met with loud booing. And now it's just sort of an undercurrent, but not much. They've accepted it.
The outfield's very deep for him, and here's the pitch, and a breaking ball low and in. A throw to first, and David Wright, watching, got back to the bag without any hesitation, without any problems. Philadelphia leading the Braves, by the way, 3-1 going to the 5th inning in that game. Ryan Howard has hit a 3-run home run, his 9th. Pittsburgh, Milwaukee scoreless through 2. Here's the pitch. And Beltran takes a heater for a strike, a fastball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. San Diego did not score in the top of the first with the Rockies coming to bat in Denver. Arizona's at Los Angeles. Here it's 1-0 in favor of Houston. Top half of the 4th, and the pitch just a little high. Boy, that is a stingy strike zone. 2-1. Mike Winters and Angel Hernandez so far this week have been the 2 stingiest umpires I've seen. And in 2 ballparks where it wouldn't matter to the hitters if expanded the strike zone a little bit. The pitch swung on. That's laced down the right field line. Coming over Pence. He can't get there. He'll have to flag it on a bounce. Going first to third is David Wright. Into second base goes Beltran. He will have a double. He took his time making that turnaround first, being very cautious. And as that throw came in from right field, Hunter Pence, it was Beltran who just kept digging. And he is safe at second base with a double. Give your family the gift of a safe and secure financial future from New York Life Insurance Company. New York Life, safe and secure so you can be too. David Wright had an inkling about possibly scoring, but everybody knows Pence has a great arm. He actually fired that inside arm kind of wildly into second base, and Wallace, the first baseman, picked it off in barehanded fashion.
He missed the first cutoff man, Bill Hall.
So Jason Bay, the batter, and the pitch swung on, line to left. That is hooking away from Lee. Reaches down and makes a catch near the kneecaps on the dead run. Carlos Lee has been booed. He's been victimized here for his outfield play. Just saved the day for the Astros as he saves 2 runs on base bid for an extra base hit. The play of the game to this point. No runs, 1 hit, 2 runners left on. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and for the first time he's hearing cheers instead of jeers for his defense, Carlos Lee. 1-0 Houston on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
That's all Mets. FAN.
Strike to Chris Johnson, the third baseman, who just witnessed a terrific catch as that ball was hit on a line and hooking away from Carlos Lee, and he made a spectacular catch. Fastball in for a strike. It is 0-2. This crowd was stunned. Jason Bay was stunned as well. So it's 1-0 Houston. And the delivery. And a chopper foul outside at third, and taken in by David Wright. We owe you station identification from Texas on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Doc Rivers gets a 5-year contract extension to remain Celtics coach, and Adam the Bull after the Mets in WFAN, WXRK HD3, New York.
Wayne Hagan along with Howie Rose here in Houston. 1-0 Stros, and a pitch is on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. He just guided that one in. That's that changeup that he loves to throw to right-handed batters. They're just not used to a right-hander throwing a lot of changeups to them. Well, primarily throw that to left-handers. That's usually the pattern, but he throws it to righties, and it's been very effective in his young major league career. So 1 out, Bill Hall coming up. Yankees have just tied the game with the Red Sox. Still batting in the bottom of the 5th inning, a 2-2 tie. Russell Martin having a fabulous time in New York. Hit his 7th home run. A fastball cut on and fouled back near us. And it's 0-1 to Bill Hall. He bounced to short his first time. Adrian Gonzalez heating up with the bat for the Red Sox, hit his 8th home run. Play Buchholz against Bartolo Colon. Hall getting established in the batter's box. That open stance. Here's the pitch at a fastball right down the middle for a called strike 2. 0-2. Justin Verlander had a no-hitter through 5, trying to make it back-to-back no-hit bids. But Melky Cabrera had a 2-out triple that ended that no-no in the 6th inning. It is Detroit leading 3-1 over Kansas City in the 7th. Breaky ball swung on and missed, and down goes Bill Hall. 2 consecutive strikeouts, and that was an unreachable breaking ball for a right-handed batter. And that ended up almost in the left-handed batter's box. Almost. 2 outs. Humberto Quintero, the batter. He popped to short his first time up. Splitting duties with J.R. Tolles, the catcher. He's taking his sweet time getting in that batter's box. They're trying to stop the little fluidity to which Dylan G is pitching now. Fastball, and that's outside, I guess. Maybe a little high. 1-0 to count. 1-0 Astros. They bat here in the bottom of the 4th. The pitch. And it's on the outside corner for a strike. New Yorkers love going out. Glenwood residents love coming home. You can call them at 888-GLENWOOD. Leading owner of luxury rental apartments in Manhattan. Pitch is low and outside. Ball 1. 1 ball. Make it 2 balls at a strike at the count. G ready and fires a fastball, and that's hit off the fist and popped up into shallow left. Angling back is Jose Reyes. He calls off David Wright, makes the catch in a 1-2-3 inning for Dylan G. We played 4 here in Houston. Game 1 of this series, 1-0 Houston on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
Introducing
It's time for the Dodge Charger back-to-back home run giveaway. If the Mets hit back-to-back home runs to lead off this 5th inning, Candace Pfeiffer of Wyckoff, New Jersey will win a Dodge Charger. Dodge never neutral. Go to WFAN.com to register for your chance to win. It's 1-0 Astros as we head to the 5th in Howie Road.
All right, thanks, Wayne. And Candace, it'll be Daniel Murphy and Justin Turner trying to get you a car with Jason Pridey, the 3rd hitter in this inning, with the Mets down a run. And the first pitch to Murphy, a fastball of the knees for a called strike 0-1. Murph hit a hard comebacker to the mound his first time up. A 1-hopper that was fielded rather protectively by Norris. The 0-1 inside, forcing Murphy to back out of the way. A fastball at 91. And the count even now, 1 ball and 1 strike to Daniel Murphy.
He doesn't let anybody get comfortable in that batter's box, does he?
Oh, you know what? He's got a bit of an attitude about him on the mound, which is great. The 1-1 on the way. Change up. Hit in the air. Foul down the third base line. That'll reach the seats near the dugout. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know, he's got an edge to him. And for a pitcher, that's a valuable thing as long as you're not emotional to the point where your emotions get the better of you. And at this point, we really haven't seen that with Norris. He has struck out 3 so far tonight. Came into this game 8th in the league in strikeouts. They play Murphy to pull in the outfield. And Norris with a 1-2. Swung on and missed strike 3. A wild swing at a slider in the dirt. And Murphy tagged by Quintero to complete the strikeout. So 4 strikeouts for Norris. 1 out, nobody on, and Justin Turner. Last time Norris pitched against the Mets, we told the story of how he became known as Bud, because, you know, nobody's born Bud. And I've never quite understood what you have to do to become a bud. And at least in Norris's case, there is a reasonable, albeit odd, explanation. Turner hits the first pitch back to the backstop, a foul ball, 0-1. It really falls under the category of be careful what you say around kids, because they're listening and they will mimic you. First, the 0-1 pitch out of the way to Turner. Slider swung on and missed 0-2. When Norris was 3 years old, he was at a restaurant with family and friends, and I guess he heard a few of the people there order their favorite beverage, and he said, I want Bud. I want Bud. And that's how he became known as Bud. The 0-2 curveball high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I don't believe that they gave him an adult beverage at the age of 3, but I guess can't put anything past anyone. There's the 1-2 to Turner, and that's lifted in the air to right field, going back a step and now towards the line. Pence, and he makes the catch, 2 men away. And Jason Pridey will be the batter. Salute tonight's hero of the game, EMT John Ohnmack of the Katona Bedford Hills Volunteer Ambulance Corps, for his dedication and service to our community. Brought to you by the attorneys at Turley Hansen and Partners, representing World Trade Center victims in the Zadroga 9/11 claims. For info, call 855-WTC-INFO or visit ZadrogaClaimsInfo.com. First pitch is a fastball in the knees, a called strike 1. Go to WFAN.com and click on Contest and Promotions to nominate a hero today. Mets down 1-0, 2 out, nobody on here in the 5th. 0-1 to Pridey, a fastball right down the middle, strike 2 called. Pridey now 0 for his last 13 after popping out to second his first time up. Astros with 3 hits, the Mets 2. And the 0-2 pitch on the way, high, a fastball, 1-2. Mets might have had the lead at this point in the game. In fact, they would have if not for a great play by Carlos Lee on Jason Bay to win the top of the 4th. 1-2 to Pridey, foul back to the screen. So it remains 1-2.
It's kind of how it's gone for the Mets. I mean, here's a situation where they walked David Wright with 2 outs to get to the hottest hitter, and Beltran doubles, but Wright couldn't score because Hunter Pence got rid of the ball so quickly. Even though somewhat blind on his throw, he threw it into the infield.
Here's a 1-2 to Pridey. In the dirt, a changeup. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I wonder how things might have changed a little bit early after Jose Reyes hit the first pitch of the game for a single, then ultimately got picked off. And I'm telling you, it just set it all in motion, at least through the first 4 innings.
2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3.
Make it for 5 innings now.
Now it's 5. 5 strikeouts as well for Norris. The Mets go in order, middle of inning 5. Houston 1, the Mets nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
1-0 Astros as we go to the bottom of the 5th. The in-game summary is brought to you by Metro PCS and the world's first 4G LTE Android smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy Indulge. Metro PCS, wireless for all. Bud Norris, the pitcher, scored the only run of the game. He walked his first time up. Takes right down the middle for a called strike, an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. 0-1. That came when he led off the bottom of the 3rd. Eventually was balked from 2nd to 3rd and scored on a sac fly by Lee, and that's the only run. The 0-1, fastball down the middle, strike 2 called. It'll be Norris, Bourne, and Barmes here in the Houston half of the 5th. Now the 0-2 pitch on the way. And it's high, 1-2. Houston, like the Mets, are also in their 50th year of existence in the National League, but not all of them as the Astros. A 1-2 on the way, breaking ball in the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Originally, this franchise was known as the Houston Colt 45s. And they played under that name in 62, 63, and 64. 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball outside, ball 3, was ahead 0-2, and now he's run it full to the pitcher who he walked his first time up. But the Harris County Dome Stadium, which was under construction, was eventually named the Astrodome. 3-2 on the way. Line to left field. Bay to his left. Reaches down and makes a sliding catch. He took a somewhat circuitous route to that ball, and in the nick of time made the play for the out. One away.
Boy, left fielders have been busy tonight. That's 2 catches by Jason Bay, but the biggest one of the night belonged to Carlos Lee on a Jason Bay line drive. That saved the Astros 2 runs.
Bay came back and around to get that ball. So 1 out, nobody on from Michael Bourne, who's 1 for 2, an infield hit and a strikeout. First pitch, fastball inside, 1-0. So the franchise changed their name for the 65 season when the Dome opened. They became the Astros. And they've retired a bunch of uniform numbers here. The 1-0 on the way, fastball high, 2-0. Of course, the Mets have only retired 3. Gil Hodges, number 14, Casey Stengels, number 37, and Tom Seaver's number 41. 2-0, and Bourne swings through a changeup, 2-1. Of course, every team in baseball has retired number 42 for Jackie Robinson. But I'll tell you some of the other Houston retired numbers. Not all of them household names. The 2-1 swung on and missed. Another changeup, and the count 2-2. First one was a fellow named Jim Umbright. They retired his number 32. He pitched for the Colt 45s and died young of cancer when he was an active player. 2-2 pitch on the inside corner, strike 3 called. So G picks up his 5th strikeout. 2 out, nobody on. And Clint Varmus coming up. They retired number 40 for the pitcher Don Wilson, a terrific right-hander who pitched 2 no-hitters, but also died while still an active player. Number 25 is retired for Jose Cruz, good outfielder. Here's Clint Varmus, right-hand batter. First pitch, fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Number 33 for the former Mets pitcher Mike Scott, who had some great years with the Astros, as the '86 Mets well remember. The 0-1, breaking ball low outside, 1-1. Number 34 for Nolan Ryan, another ex-Met, of course. Number 49 for the pitcher and broadcaster and manager of the Astros, Larry Dierker. Fastball inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Number 24 for the toy cannon, Jimmy Wynn. 5'9", I believe about 165 pounds, and a lot of power. And the 2-1 changeup for a called strike, 2-2. And then Jeff Bagwell's number 5 and Craig Biggio's number 7. They were both managed here by Mets manager Terry Collins back in the mid-'90s. And Terry says both of those guys are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. 2-2 pitch, curveball, foul back to the screen. Count remains even.
Well, remember one thing about Terry Collins. His rookie year was 1994. The Astros were a half game out of first place behind Cincinnati when the strike hit, and that was his rookie year. And Bagwell was the MVP that year.
2-2 pitch, breaking ball in the dirt, and it's a full count now on Varmus.
He only hit 368, rough year. But Terry was fiery, and he had that Angels ball club that was a bit mutinous on his part, also near second place.
So the payoff pitch to Varmus, inside ball 4. And G loses a guy who was hitting a $186. And so with 2 out, 4th walk given up by G, and now he's going to have to face the Astros' hottest hitter, Hunter Pence, with Houston leading 1-0 here in the 5th inning. When it comes to credit scores, everyone has 3, and each can be different. At freescore.com, you can see all 3 scores because you never know which one a lender will check. Don't let one bad score cost you a loan. 3 credit scores, 1 place, freescore.com. Pence, a right-hand hitter. First pitch is taken below the knees. Change up, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Pence is flied to left and drawn a walk. Astros about hit the Mets 3-2 and lead 1-0. Murphy holding against Varmus at first. And now the 1-0 to Pence. Fastball low outside, ball 2. And G has gone through these little mini wildness spells a couple of times so far tonight. He has thrown 84 pitches to this point, not yet through the 5th inning. Trailing 1-0. 2-0 to Pence. G sets at the letters. Now the pitch. Fastball down the middle for a called strike, 2-1. Hunter Pence and Dylan G went to the same school, the University of Texas at Arlington, but they weren't there at the same time, so there's no real personal connection between G and Pence. 2-1 the count. The pitch fouled back towards the backstop. He took a huge swing at a slider. And the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hunter Pence was born in Fort Worth, Texas. Dylan G is from Cleburne, Texas, which is north of here. And again, he's got his parents, other friends and family in the ballpark tonight. And they are being monitored carefully by the boys over on the TV side at SNY. 2-2 to Pence. And a throw to first. Barmas dives back in. Hunter Pence is a far, far better baseball player than the stork George Theodore was, but they bear some physical similarities. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a fastball up, and that retires the side. 6 strikeouts for G. No runs, no hits, a walk, 1 left, and at the end of 5. Houston 1, the Mets nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Let's go Mets!
Maximize your family outing at Citi Field with Pepsi Max Mondays. You get 4 Mets tickets, 4 Pepsi fountain sodas, and a coupon for a 2-liter of Pepsi Max. Go to Mets.com now for your tickets. 6th inning, here's Wayne.
All right, thank you, Howie. In the first pitch, a fastball strike to Dylan G. Well, if it worked for Bud Norris leading off the 3rd inning and scored the only run of the game, maybe it can work for G. The pitch low and outside, and it's 1-1. He threw him a breaking ball. He has apparently, from what we're told, fallen in love with his slider, but it's been a very effective pitch for Bud Norris. The pitch on the way, and it's inside, a fastball, 2-1. That's the one thing he can't get away from, obviously, is throwing his fastball. A very effective slider. He's racked up 5 strikeouts tonight. Dylan G is struck out 6, but he trails 1-0 to the Stros. Fastball popped up, and foul ground up and over the screen and back into the crowd. And the count evens at 2-2. Once again, the Mets, kind of interesting how they go about their business. Remember the first game of their series in Colorado when it was 78 degrees. They scored 1 run on 5 hits. Then yesterday they scored 9 runs on 6 hits in 45-degree weather. That's beautiful here tonight. And a pitch just outside. That was mighty close. 2-2. And yet, the Mets offense down to just 2 hits tonight. The Stros have but 3. Fastball fouled back, and Dylan G had a good cut at that one. We're coming to you live from the Peerless Boilers broadcast booth. Remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. The only run scored on a sacrifice fly off the bat of Carlos Lee. Did a good job with an 0-2 count to produce that fly ball. Here's a fastball strike on the outside corner. Dylan G strikes out for the 2nd time. 3 of the last 4 outs have been by way of strikeouts, and each pitcher with 6. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Acela Express, where you can plug in at work or sit back and relax. Book now at Amtrak.com. Jose Reyes, the hitter, with 1 out. Cubs beat San Francisco 11-4 at Wrigley today behind Ryan Dempster. Here's the pitch to Reyes, and it's low, ball 1, a first pitch fastball. Reyes singled on the game's first pitch. Later was picked off at first base by Norris. Then he popped up on a 2-0 count to the second baseman. Takes a fastball right down the middle, and it's a strike, 1-1. Norris trying to quicken the pace a little bit. Now he just kind of stalls out. Here's the right-hander's pitch, off speed, line to left, but right at Carlos Lee. He makes the catch, and there are 2 outs. And Josh Tolley will be the hitter. Florida and Washington, the Marlins had an early 3-0 lead. It was 4-4. The Marlins just scored a run in the 8th, still batting, on Logan Morrison's 5th home run of the year. So that's 4 home runs hit tonight by the Marlins. Sanchez, Buck, Stanton, and now Morrison. Here's a swing and a ground ball out to second base off the bat of Tolley. And Bill Hall will handle it, throw him out. 1, 2, 3, go the Mets. Another string of 7 in a row retired by Bud Norris. 3 up, 3 down. Heading to the last of the 6th inning in Houston. 1-0 Astros on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
New York Life Stories.
Last night, my 7-year-old couldn't get to sleep.
I'm scared of the dark, Daddy.
So I tucked her in, checked under the bed for monsters, and made her a promise. I'll keep you safe. Then I wondered, would I really be able to keep her safe? It's a tough promise to keep these days, but my New York Life agent reassured me it's not impossible. She said New York Life has been protecting families for 166 years and withstood even tougher times than these. You see, they help families plan for the future and prepare for the unexpected. Even today, New York Life still maintains the highest possible ratings for financial strength. They're safe and secure. So is my promise to my daughter. Sweet dreams, Abby.
Sweet dreams, Daddy.
Give your family the most selfless gift of all, a secure
Dylan G paid a visit by Josh Tolle. He's thrown 87 pitches so far in this ball game, and he trails Houston 1-0. 1 run on 3 hits for the Astros. Again, Carlos Lee on an 0-2 pitch lifted it in the air to right field. And Bud Norris tagged at third and headed home with the game's lone run. That was in inning number 3. We are in the bottom of the 6th, and the first pitch is over for a called strike 1 to Carlos Lee. A fastball from Dylan G. Lee with a single and the sacrifice fly. G works fast and a changeup swung on and missed. St. Louis leads 4-2 over the Reds. That's in the top of the 7th inning. Philadelphia tied 3-3 with the Braves in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ryan Howard, a home run, a 3-run shot, is 9th. Swing and a smash off the glove of the leaping third baseman David Wright. Clear out into left field. That ball will travel, and it's picked up by Jason Bay, and Carlos Lee nearly stung that ball so hard that he nearly took David Wright's glove with it into left field. Boy, he hit a baseball extremely hard.
It's 1,999 hits for Carlos Lee in his career.
Did I ever tell you what happened the night that Tony Gwynn got his 2,000th career hit? Because we had been friends in college, gone to school together, and he found out after the game that I didn't get to call it because we had known each other for so long. Here's Brett Wallace, the pitch hits it. He spins out of the way just ever so slightly and takes a fastball and is hit by the pitch, and off he goes to first base. And Chris Johnson comes up with 2 on and nobody out. I got a bat from Tony Gwynn the next day, and it says on it, to Wayne, sorry about number 2,000. That was the nicest thing Tony Gwynn could possibly have done for me, because I really, you don't have too many friends in the game from college that you know and have careers like he did. Ryota Igarashi and Pat Mish are warming up in the bullpen, so they knew that something was going on with Dylan G before this inning. Josh Tolle had gone out after the warm-up tosses and had an extensive talk with him, and now G has got himself into trouble with a single, and now hitting Brett Wallace and Chris Johnson coming up.
The Mets have hit more batters than any staff in the major leagues, and there's no perfectly logical explanation for it, because the Mets actually, look at the number of walks that they've allowed, it's still next to last in the league, but it's been trending better after the first month of the year. They've hit 18 batters now.
Dylan G needs a ground ball in the worst way from Chris Johnson. See if he will oblige. And the pitch to him. And it's right down the middle, a called strike 1. He threw him a first pitch slider. He'll throw that curveball, a changeup to go along with his fastball. Bent over the waist as he looks in. Now he steps off and asks Tolle to go through the signs again with that lead runner, Carlos Lee, at second base. The runner at first is Wallace. Lee has already been thrown out by Jason Bay at home plate, trying to score with nobody out on a base hit to left. The pitch outside and low. 1 ball and 1 strike, an off-speed pitch. Milwaukee leading Pittsburgh 2-0 through 3. Jonathan LaCroix has hit a home run. San Diego trails Colorado 3-1 in the bottom of the second. Cameron Maben, a home run. Fastball and a late swing, and he shoots it into the first base dugout on the far end. Hope everybody was fine down there as they had to scatter. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Top of the 7th inning, and Boston leads 5-2 over the Yankees. Kevin Youkilis, a 2-run home run. And Cleveland beat Seattle 5-4. Travis Hafner, a 2-run walk-off home run. The pitch grounded foul past the third base coach, Dave Clark. Toronto, Minnesota scoreless in the bottom of the 5th inning. Later, Chicago would be at Oakland. We'll continue to update you throughout the evening. Chris Matchkowski, our producer-engineer, with those duties, and we appreciate those efforts every night. The pitch, breaking ball, that's hammered down the left field line and into the corner. Lee will trot home. On his way to third is Wallace. He'll stop there and into second base with a run-producing double as Chris Johnson, and it is 2-0 Houston, and looking for more. Nobody out. A lot of 2-strike counts and balls being tattooed by the Astros here in the inning. It began with a single by Carlos Lee. So here comes Terry Collins, and Dylan G will depart this ball game trailing not only 2-0, but leaving runners at second and third with nobody out. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today.
Metro PCS brings you unlimited wireless with an all-new lineup of amazing Android phones. If you're looking for a new Android phone, stop into Metro PCS and check out the world's first 4G LTE Android smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy Indulge. The Samsung Galaxy.
Ryota Igarashi is the new pitcher for the Mets. He is 2-0 and a 4.15 ERA. Righties are hitting just 158 against him. And he's going to be facing the right-handed batting Bill Hall with a run in, runners at second and third, 2-0 Houston here in the last of the 6th inning. For Bill Hall, he is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to shortstop, and he has struck out in this game. Dylan G responsible for those 2 runners. He has surrendered 2 runs on 5 hits in this game. And Carlos Lee in the middle of everything, thrown out of the plate, sacrifice fly, has scored a run, and made a great catch to save 2 runs tonight in left field. Wallace, the runner at third. Chris Johnson at second. Here's the pitch from Igarashi, and a fastball in there for a called strike 1. Dave Clark came running at home plate like Jackie Robinson used to dart off at third base when he was going to steal. And he's the third base coach, Dave Clark, but he was trying to get the attention of Bill Hall. Not out of the realm of possibility of a suicide squeeze bunt either. Here's the pitch on the way. A swing and a line drive, base hit into left field. In to score is Wallace. Checking in at third is Johnson. At first base is Bill Hall. 4 consecutive men have reached safely here in the 6th, and it's 3-0 in favor of the Astros. Hall checking in with his 11th run driven in. That run charged to G, and he's got Chris Johnson on his tab over there at third. Humberto Quintero, the batter, he has twice popped up to the shortstop, Jose Reyes. Well, the Mets offense hasn't done much tonight against Bud Norris. That's a 3-0 deficit right now. The pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. That's a very active third base coach, Dave Clark. He is hustling all over the place down there. Now he backs up because he's smart. There's a right-handed batter up there. He's too close for comfort without a glove. The stretch of the pitch, and a breaking ball floats out of his hand nearly to the backstop. Out of the crouch comes Tolle to haul that one in, and it's 2-0. That's baseball brought to you by Dodge and your local Dodge dealer. Fall in love with driving again. Go to Dodge.com to see their latest offers in the 2011 lineup. They are Dodge, and they are never neutral. Igarashi stretches. Runners at the corners in the pitch. A fastball in there for a called strike. 2-1.
First 2 runs in this inning, plus Chris Johnson at third, are the responsibility of Dylan G. And the Mets bullpen coming into this game had not allowed a run in 19 and a third innings. They have not only sorted themselves out, but they've been spectacular over the last few weeks.
0.59 earned run average this month. That's the best in the major leagues. Mets will give up another run if they can turn 2. The 2-1 pitch and a half swing. Did he go around? They'll have to appeal to first base. And the umpire says no. Mike Estabrook. Boy, that sure looked like Quintero went through. At least with the naked eye behind home plate, slightly up the right side from home plate.
They talk about conceding the run with the infield back. It's understandable with nobody out, but this is the 6th inning. And the way Norris is dealing, you can't afford to give up any more runs.
3-1 pitch, fastball, and that's hit down the right field line, slicing out of play. Hit it a long distance, but foul.
I certainly understand that you need to try to shut off the really big inning, but it's getting late in this game, and the Mets only have 2 hits. And with Quintero, the number 8 hitter, and the pitcher up next, it's got to be pretty tempting to move that infield up and try to prevent anything from scoring at this point.
What is so vital right now is a strikeout of Quintero. Then you can bring Bud Norris to the plate, although he's already scored a run tonight. That is what is so critical. That's why you always like to have those hard throwers in the bullpen, so you can get critical strikeouts when you need them most. That would keep the double play in order with the pitcher coming up next. First things first, a 3-2 pitch from Igarashi. He sets and he fires. And a swing and a ground ball to first. And on a backhanded effort, Murphy can't come up with it. It goes into right field. In from third is Johnson. And it is now a 4-0 Houston lead. The reason that happened is because Murphy wanted to backhand it and initiate that double play. And it took his eyes off that baseball. And it is going to be an error. It is an RBI for Quintero, but it is an error and not a good play by Daniel Murphy when it was a tailor-made double play. So still nobody out, folks. Runners at first and second with 3 runs in.
Now the pitcher, Bud Norris, is up there in a great bunting situation. And the entire... Well, the Mets battery plus the corners, Reyes and Turner are staying back for the time being, but they all get together on the mound to talk to Igarashi.
So we can close the books on Dylan G. 5+ innings. He would surrender 4 runs on 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, but 4 walks tonight. So Igarashi, after the meeting, will work on Bud Norris, who can really help himself. He already has that 4-0 lead. Those numbers are in his back pocket. He swings and hits it down to third. David Wright has no one to throw to at second base. He throws wildly at first. Murphy comes off the bag and tags out the runner going by for the only out of the inning. Well, it looked like it was going to be a bunt, and when he swung away, Norris caused chaos in the infield, because there was nobody covering at second base. Remember, it's a bunting play, so on the move was the second baseman, Justin Turner, running towards first. And he got caught because nobody was at second base, so ultimately the throw goes to first base. A very nonchalant Daniel Murphy who tags out the runner. So they get an out, but runners now at second and third. Terry Collins is making another pitching change. And it's brought to you by Geico. A 15-minute call can save you 15% or more on your car insurance.
Store for details. Metro PCS. Wireless for all.
Hello.
Inside the Numbers brought to you by the New York State Smokers Quit Line. Go to nysmokefree.com for help quitting today. Numbers don't bode well for the Mets right now with the way that Bud Norris has pitched so well here at this ballpark. We've mentioned that he has a 1.40 earned run average at home this season and has a 4-0 lead. And when he swung away, That was a wild little bit of defense on the part of the Mets. They get one out, so runners at second and third, the infield drawn in. Pat Mish will pitch to Michael Bourne, lefty versus lefty in the first pitch. A fastball outside, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. Probably a slider to be more accurate on that call as it slid away from the left-handed batting Bourne. Mish ready and delivers. And he misses low, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. His second stint with the Mets of this season. Remember last year he went 0-4 as a member of the Mets. It was 0-2 at Buffalo. Gave up 6 home runs there with the Bisons. The pitch. Fastball cracked on the ground. Backhanded by Murphy. Looks at home. There's nobody there. He runs towards first. Gets the out. Runner breaking for third. The throw home and the tag out by Tolley in the most incredible double play you'll ever see. The runner at third base did not break initially. Bill Hall. So Murphy didn't realize that the runner at second had taken off towards third. There was a logjam of runners there. Instead, he raced back to the bag and got the out at first base on Bourne, and then threw home and got Hall on a 3-3-2 double play. You had to see it to believe it. 3 runs on a total of 3 hits in the inning. 3 runs on 3 hits, 1 runner left on. And at the end of 6, it's 4-0 Houston on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Let's go Mets!
Well, the 38th game of the season for the Mets has been a strange one. 4-0 Houston, and the first pitch to David Wright is low ball 1 from Bud Norris. Everything on the bases has just had an extra little element to it. Pitch on the way, and it's low and outside, gets away from the catcher Quintero. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Astros, no runs on 2 hits for the Mets. The Astros have had 2 runners cut down at home plate, once by the left fielder, now one by the first baseman who had no idea what was going on over at third with 2 base runners. A fastball, and that is low, and it's now 3-0 to David Wright.
Bill Hall was not running on contact on the ball that was hit by Bourne. Quintero was. They were just about together, separated by about 10 feet near third base.
Pitch is a strike.
So David Wright was frantically waving his arms to throw the ball to him. Then, when Murphy took the out at first base and Hall started for the plate, Wright was jumping up and down and pointing towards home plate.
3-1 pitch, and that's foul back to the backstop.
David had a very active play there, even though he wasn't involved in it at all, as it turned out.
Daniel Murphy, I think, only thought of the play once he saw that the runner wasn't coming from third. He knew he had to get Bourne at first base, and he had to react quickly, and he totally didn't see Quintero in between second and third. Had no idea what was happening. 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and David Wright strikes out on a fastball. And that is strikeout number 7 of the game for Bud Norris. And here comes Carlos Beltran. Let's take a look at his numbers. He is lined to right and doubled. He wears number 15. In just 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit Geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO for your free rate quote. Hit a home run with Geico. Brad Mills, the manager, is talking right now to Dave Clark, and he's trying to explain what all happened over there. The pitch is strike to Beltran.
Clark looks pretty hot. Now, I don't know if he's been criticized by Mills. Remember, Clark aggressively sent Carlos Lee.
Pitch is delivered low
to home plate earlier in this game with nobody out in the second inning on a base hit by Chris Johnson, and Lee was thrown out at the plate by Jason Bay. So it's been a tough night for Dave Clark, the third base coach, and he seemed pretty defensive, at least based on what we could see into the dugout on the TV cameras and the pictures that television are giving us in that conversation with manager Brad Mills.
I would agree. Here's the 1-0. And breaking ball hangs up too high, and it's 2-0. He looks like the player that just made a huge error in this game. That's the look he has. Talking about Dave Clark. You don't want to be caught by surprise out here. The pitch is over for a strike. Another breaking ball. And it's 2-2 to Carlos Beltran. I think Dave Clark just could not believe that Bill Hall. I mean, Bill Hall's a veteran. He should know what he's doing. Pitch on the way, chop foul up the first base side. You know, I've said in recent years, sometimes the way some Major League base runners go about their business, that there should be a second base coach because they just don't have it. Like the slide the other night, right into home plate. There's just no instincts for the game. A swing and a miss, and Beltran is out on strikes. And that looked to be a fastball at 87 miles an hour that gets Beltran. So Bud Norris doesn't care what kind of chaos has happened on the bases. He's just taking care of business. He has struck out 8. And he has 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and he'll deal with Jason Bay. That's baseball brought to you by RE/MAX of New York. In today's challenging economy, you need to work with the best when it comes to buying and selling real estate. A fastball is upstairs, ball 1. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Visit RE/MAX.com today. Your foreclosure and short sale experts.
Well, you make a great point, and I'm sure that's why Dave Clark was so hot in the dugout.
1-0 pitch, breaking ball inside.
Because why wouldn't, it's unless Clark, and it didn't seem that he did, was yelling at Hall not to go on contact. If he was yelling, stay, 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 which I kind of doubt, then why wouldn't Hall be going on contact?
2-0 pitch is in for a strike. No good reason. No good reason at all. So sometimes that third base coach gets in trouble, but it's the player who's responsible. Fastball is low, and it's 3-1 now. But Bill Hall, a veteran. I can understand if you want to pinpoint a mistake made by the third base coach. That was sending Carlos Lee with nobody out. Runners at first and second on a base hit to left, and that's a very short left field played by left fielders. Here's a swing and a towering drive to deep left field, way back, and kiss it goodbye. Up near the railroad tracks by Jason Bay, his second home run of the year. The Mets are on the board, and it's a 4-1 game.
Remember we told you could hit some cheap home runs to left field here? Well, that wasn't one of them. That ball was absolutely smoked. The wall in left field, where the out-of-town scoreboard is, was totally irrelevant. It's the cement wall set well behind that Bay hit it on top of, if not completely over.
And now a swing and a foul at the plate by Daniel Murphy, who's batting. What a tremendous bolt of lightning off the bat of Jason Bay on that one. And the Mets are hoping that that's a portent of things to come. The 0-1 pitch. Changeup swung out and missed, and it's 0-2. Even Jason Bay had to sneak a little peek at that one. 406 feet for that bolt to left. There's a pitch up and in, and it's 1-2 strikes. 406 feet. He's always hit well here. In excess of 300 has Jason Bay. Now the 1-2 pitch, and an off-speed pitch is low. 2-2.
Well, you're talking about the railroad tracks on top of the cement wall, well behind where the Crawford boxes jet out towards the field. On the very top of that wall, there are tracks where the Astros send a train back and forth to celebrate one of their home runs. But that train stayed in the station.
2-2 pitch. Changeup hit back to the mound. Backhanded by Norris. Throws very early. A lollipop to first. Wallace is there, and the inning is over as Murphy grounds out back to the pitcher. 1 run on 1 hit. The home run by Bay. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning with a score. Houston 4, the Mets 1 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Here's another.
Pat Mish ready to work to Clint Barmas, and the first offering is high, ball 1. Mish ready and delivers. And it's popped up foul out of play off of first. Well out of play, and it's 1-1 to Barmas, who has gone 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. 28,791 for the opening game of this 3-game series. Late afternoon game tomorrow. The pitch reached for and popped up and back of third. Long run and foul ground for David Wright, and angles back and then reaches out forward with his glove about chest high and makes the catch. There is nothing easy about that play. So 1 out. And the batter will be Hunter Pence. He's got a 15-game hitting streak on the line here. He's gone 0 for 2 and a walk. Four runs on 6 hits for the Astros, 1 run on 3 hits for the Mets, and they have made an error in this game. Mish ready and fires, and it's swung on and popped up on the left side. Another play for either Tolley or Wright. It is Tolley in foul ground, stumbling a bit, but makes the catch just outside of the right-handed batter's box, and that's going to be out number 2.
Well, one thing about that play, there certainly did not appear to be any confusion because Pat Mish seemed to have taken charge and appeared to be calling. And I don't know that Mike Pelfrey was anywhere near as aggressive and demonstrative a couple of nights ago when Ike Davis and David Wright collided. But Mish did what you're supposed to do there.
You have to be a traffic cop, and you have to be very vocal about it. Carlos Lee has had a good night. He's 2 out of 2, a sacrifice fly, and a run scored, and a great catch. And it's a pitch over for a strike from Mish. Fastball. He's trying to work fast here. Roof open here tonight. Yeah, just the way we like it. The pitch is low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Going to be shooting off some fireworks after the game, so you're going to be challenged on Mets Extra.
Again. There have been some loud the concerts in Florida are the toughest. Now the 1-1 pitch. Fastball, that's popped up in the air down the right field line. That's going to drop untouched, as nobody could get there. That pitch was at 85 miles an hour, a fastball. The pitch speed brought to you by Time Warner Cable Wideband Internet. Make the giant leap from broadband to wideband. That's trailing by 3 runs. Mish trying to get them through the 7th and get to the bottom part of the order in the 8th inning. The pitch, and he misses away with a fastball. 2-2. Jay Happ against R.A. Dickey tomorrow. Mish delivers off speed, and that's popped up into shallow right. Going back is Justin Turner calling and making the catch, and 3 pop-up outs in the inning for Pat Mish. And through 7 innings of play, it's 4-1 Houston on this Friday night on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Let's go Mets!
White Castle.
Law firm, New York's premier personal injury firm, reminds you that this copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of Sterling Mets, and it is a no-no if you do it without the express written consent of Sterling Mets. Let's go to the 8th inning, 4-1 Houston. Once again, Howie Rose.
Thanks, Wayne. Justin Turner waves at a slider for strike 1. Turner has struck out and flied to right. He'll be followed by Jason Pridey and Pat Mish. Mets are down 3. They only have 3 hits, and they've made the only error. The 0-1, a fastball in for a called strike, 0-2. Bud Norris has been outstanding. He has struck out 8 and walked 2. And from the first base side of the rubber, the 0-2 to Turner. Breaking ball foul down the right field line, out of play. Still 0-2. Geico wants you to know that a 15-minute phone call can save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. The outfield is tilted towards the right against the right-hand hitting Justin Turner. And Norris into the windup, and the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball fouled off again. Back into the sweet level behind first base. Tomorrow, game 2 of this 3-game series, 4:05 Eastern Time start. R.A. Dickey will pitch for the Mets against Jay Happ, former Philly left-hander. And the 0-2 to Turner. Hit on the ground wide of third, past the diving Johnson and into left field for a base hit. Turner takes a turn and holds on as the ball comes back in. And the Mets looking to get something going here in the 8th inning. Pick up their 4th hit of the game. A leadoff single by Turner. And now Jason Pridey, who is 0 for 2 and 0 for his last 14. Mets baseball is brought to you by Dodge and your local Dodge dealer. Fall in love with driving again. Go to Dodge.com to see their latest offers on their 2011 lineup. They are Dodge, and they are never neutral. Well, Pridey, a left-hand batter against the right-hander Norris, and left-hand hitting Fernando Martinez has come out on deck to bat for Pat Mish. So here's Pridey. First pitch, fastball inside. Quick throw to first by Quintero. Not in time to get Turner, who dives back in. Jeff Fulcino, a right-hander. Fernando Abad, a left-hander, are throwing in the Houston bullpen as Bud Norris has just hit the 100-pitch mark. Well, he has been solid all night, even though the Mets helped him very early on. Here's the 1-0 to Pridey. Fastball at the knees, a called strike, 1-1. Remember, Jose Reyes hit the first pitch of this game into right field for a base hit, but was subsequently picked off by Norris, who then walked Josh Tolley. David Wright hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Another throw to first, and Turner dives back in, and the Mets came up empty in the first inning. Their only run came in the 7th on a long home run by Jason Day. Now trying to make some noise here. 1-1 to Pridey. The pitch, fastball low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now the bullpen for the Astros, should they go to it here in the 7th inning, has not exactly, or in the 8th inning, pardon me, has not exactly been a strength of theirs. Their closer, Brandon Lyons, struggled and then went on the DL. He's got a slight tear of the rotator cuff. Here's the 2-0, or 2-1 to Pridey, lifted in the air to left field, hustling towards the line. Lee on the run, still going, makes the catch. And all the way down to second was Turner, so he's got to go back to first base. Carlos Lee all of a sudden is looking like a Gold Glove left fielder tonight. 1 away.
Yes, he is, and he has really caught it. A lot of flack, actually, from the Astros fans the last, year and a half. He's a big guy, and it's hard for him to get to a lot of those balls that are hit to his left, but he has certainly done a good job going to get those balls hit to his right.
Well, here's Brad Ellensburg, the pitching coach for the Astros, heading out to have a word with Bud Norris, with Fernando Martinez announced as the pinch hitter. Martinez came up from Buffalo yesterday when Mike Davis went on the DL and popped out to short as a pinch hitter. Of course, Martinez has some pop. Problem is keeping him on the field because of all the injuries that he suffered over the last few years. Still just 22 years of age. Had gotten into 19 games with Buffalo and hit .292 with 3 homers and 7 RBIs. And question about Martinez is whether or not he's really a prospect anymore. You know, he's been hurt so often, he's missed a lot of time. But here he is now facing Norris, trailing 4-1. First pitch, fastball down the middle, strike 1 called. So the Mets will go to a new pitcher in the bottom of the 8th. They've got Taylor Buchholz, the right-hander, and Mike O'Connor, the left-hander, loosening up now. Pat Nish solid. But then again, so is the entire bullpen been solid. Here's the 0-1. Hit high in the air, deep to right field. This ball's going a long way. Home run, Fernando Martinez. He hit a slider into the second deck in right field for his first home run of the year. And the Mets now are within 1. Houston 4 and New York 3. And maybe he is still a prospect.
That'll certainly make Terry Collins take notice, who watched him as a AAA athlete last year. A little bit of time with the Mets, always injured, but there's always been that power. And to come off the bench and deliver there on a hanger, those are the pitches you're supposed to destroy, and he did. Great weight shift.
So here's Jose Reyes, takes a fastball outside, 1-0, and suddenly 4-3 Houston. And Martinez making a little more noise around the organization than just the sound of the home run. The 1-0, a fastball on the inside corner, strike 1 called. I mean, let's be honest, there's so much speculation about guys who could be traded around here, and Carlos Beltran is certainly one of them. Mets would love to get the feeling that Martinez still has a chance to develop. 1-1, fastball in for a called strike to Reyes. It's 1-2.
Yeah, it's just hard to project a player like this simply because you can't keep him on the field to see those numbers soar.
He's got one thing in common with Beltran, too, an arthritic knee. Those don't get better. They're chronic. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball in the dirt, 2-2.
And awfully young to have it.
Yeah, you bet. This year it was a hamstring that had him on the DL. But Fernando Martinez with a 2-run home run cuts the Houston lead to 4-3. He hit it well up into that second deck. Here's the 2-2 to Reyes. Outside and high, ball 3, full count.
Both home runs for the Mets, Bay and Martinez, were absolute bombs.
7 homers now this year given up by Bud Norris. So 3-2 to Reyes, trying to get on as the tying run here. Outfield around towards right. Here's the payoff pitch. And it's high, ball 4. He missed with a fastball. And the tying run, safe and secure for now at first base. Give your family the gift of a safe and secure financial future from New York Life Insurance Company. New York Life is safe and secure, so you can be too. And that's going to be it for Bud Norris, because Brad Mills is on his way to the mound. And with a left-hander, Josh Tolley, due up, I would imagine Fernando Abad will enter the ball game and answer this call to the bullpen. Brought to you by Metro PCS. Buy any phone and get a second qualifying phone for free. Metro PCS, wireless for all.
What if I said you could check email and get your work done?
That's not going to be a left-hander, Fernando Abad. Instead, right-hander Jeff Fulcino will pitch to Josh Tolley with David Wright. Carlos Beltran behind Tolley, and the Mets behind now by just 1 run. Astros had a 4-0 lead going to the 7th. Bay with a solo homer. And Fernando Martinez, a 2-run pinch homer here in the 8th, has made it 4-3. So Fulcino to Tolley, and a throw to first. Reyes dives back. Now for Fulcino, this is his 20th appearance. No one-lost record. A 2.81 earned run average. He has not pitched since Sunday. The Astros bullpen, as a group, have struggled even more than their starters. Fulcino's first pitch to Tolley, a fastball outside 1-0. The Astros have the highest staff earned run average in all of baseball. Coming into this game, they had an even 5 earned run average, and the relievers are at 5.22. Throw to first, and Reyes dives back in, and he better be careful here after being picked off after he led off the ball game with a single.
Remember, yesterday he did the same thing in Colorado, where he was caught trying to steal. Eventually was caught stealing, but he was basically picked off yesterday by a reliever.
Reyes, medium-sized lead at first. Fulcino taking a lot of time, and now Tolley gets time from the home plate ump, Angel Hernandez.
And why I referenced that is because just yesterday we were talking about it. You know, that first pitch for a reliever, he's intent on getting that batter at the plate. And I'll tell you, the scouting report is out on Reyes. You've got to throw over to first base.
Outfield around towards right. Fulcino again takes his time. Now the 1-0. High, a fastball, 2-0. And he may be so concerned with Reyes at first, and he's so deliberate here with Tolley trying to slow and change the tempo. Maybe catch Reyes if he's a little extra antsy. But he's behind Tolley now, 2-0. Nice hole on the right side of the infield with Wallace holding against Reyes. Fulcino sets. Now the 2-0. And it's popped in the air to shallow left center. Moving into the gap is Michael Bourne. He's under it. Makes the catch. And Reyes, who is halfway, will go back to first. Tolley on 2-0. Flies to center, and that's the second out. And now David Wright, who is 0 for 2. David is just 2 for his last 20, 4 for his last 29. He's also drawn a walk in this game, but he's grounded into a double play and struck out. Remember, the Mets will be back at Citi Field Monday night at 7:10 to begin a 4-game homestand against the Marlins and Nationals. Just go to Mets.com now for tickets. Call 718-507-TIXX. They start at just $10. First pitch to right. Slider low outside. Snap throw to first, and Reyes is back standing.
Think that scouting report's out on Reyes? All kinds of catchers trying that now.
Well, Deano Navarro of the Dodgers picked him off last Saturday at Citi Field.
Word travels fast.
So does Reyes, but he's got to be conservative here. 1-0 the count to right. Fulcino takes his time, now deals. Fastball fouled back to the screen. Pretty good pitch for David to hit there, but he fouled it back in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Fulcino is 31 years of age. Broke in with Florida 5 years ago. He's also pitched with the Royals. This is his 3rd year with the Astros. 4-3 Houston, 2 out, top of the 8th. Reyes only a medium-sized lead at first. 1-1 to David Wright. Now the pitch. And a slider low outside. Ball 2. So 2-1 with Carlos Beltran waiting on deck. Astros with 6 hits, the Mets 5. The third baseman, Chris Johnson, is very deep behind the bag and one good stride off the line. Carlos Lee shades towards the gap a little bit and left. Another throw to first. And Reyes is back standing. So 2-1 to Wright. Reyes stretches the lead out a little bit more now. This is the biggest lead he's had so far. 2-1 the count, not running. The pitch, breaking ball hit deep to left field towards the Crawford boxes and gone. Home run, David Wright. And the Mets have taken the lead. It's 5-4 New York. He hit a hanging slider and hung it into those Crawford boxes above the big out-of-town scoreboard in left field. His 6th home run of the year. The Mets have come all the way back to move in front 5-4.
Well, a team that, at least at Citi Field, started to show signs of life with the long ball this season. Now they've come alive in just the last 2 innings. 3 home runs, 2 two-run shots, and a solo blast.
So here is Beltran on the first pitch. Fastball popped up foul outside third, coming back towards the seats and out of play. David's first home run since April the 24th against the Arizona Diamondbacks at Citi Field. So 3 homers by the Mets in this game, and the bullpen problems for the Astros continue. The 0-1 swung on and missed a slider. No balls and 2 strikes. So Bud Norris, who was outstanding in this game, cannot win.
And those 2 runners thrown out at home plate tonight by a left fielder and a first baseman for the Astros, looming large.
You bet. 0-2 to Beltran. Now the pitch. Way inside a fastball near his chins, 1-2. And, again, we don't know the specifics of what went on with Dave Clark, the third base coach, and Bill Hall, the base runner at third base, who did not go on contact on the ball hit to Murphy, but between getting Carlos Lee thrown out at the plate and that play, there's a lot on his plate tonight, too. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3, side retired. Slider from Fultino, but the Mets do some damage in the 8th inning. They score 4 runs. There were 3 hits, no errors, nobody left. Middle of the 8th inning. It's the Mets 5 and the Astros 4 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It was once 4-0 Houston. It's now 5-4 New York. And to pitch the bottom of the 8th, it will be Taylor Buchholz, not Jason Isringhausen, because Izzy yesterday really struggled with his command in the 8th inning in Denver. He only faced 5 batters, but he had to throw 28 pitches. And so Buchholz is going to try to set it up for Francisco Rodriguez as he becomes the 4th pitcher the Mets have used. And their bullpen has been spectacular lately, including tonight. 2 more scoreless innings from the combination of Igarashi and Mish, most of it by Mish, an inning and 2/3. Buchholz's 18th appearance, 1-1 and 1.42 earned run average. He broke into the big leagues with the Houston Astros as a starting pitcher 5 years ago, and it was the only season he pitched in Houston. Now Buchholz will face left-hand hitting Brett Wallace to begin the bottom of the 8th. Wallace 0 for 1. He's walked and been hit by a pitch. First pitch by Buchholz, a fastball low. 1 ball and no strikes. It's Wallace, Johnson, and Hall due up for the Astros here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Each team now with 6 hits. The outfield playing Wallace to pull. Left-hand batter. The infield tilts to the right. 1-0 pitch. Line towards third. Past right and into left field. Base hit. Down to a knee is Jason Bay to field it and play it back in. And Taylor Buchholz gives up a leadoff single to Wallace. And that'll bring up Chris Johnson. Now, yesterday, there was no save situation because of Beltran's 3rd home run. But Francisco Rodriguez got into the game anyway and pitched a 1-2-3 inning. And he had also pitched an inning 2 nights before that. So we'll see if he gets up and is a thought of Terry Collins in the 8th inning today. Here's Johnson, right-hand batter. First pitch, swung on and missed a slider. No balls and 1 strike. Johnson has singled, been caught looking, and doubled in 2 runs. And as badly as he has struggled, perhaps the fact that he has 2 hits in this game is a reason why he's not bunting here. The Astros not looking to build the tying run necessarily, at least not on that first pitch. So 0-1 the count. Buchholz to the belt. Now the pitch. Breaking ball fouled off at home plate. It's 0-2. Quick peek at some of the out-of-town scores brought to you by Major World in Queens with over 3,000 quality pre-owned cars. Call 1-800-MAJOR-AUTO or go to MajorWorld.com. Cubs beat the Giants earlier today, 11-4. Florida and Washington tied 5-5, bottom of the 9th. Cardinals 5, Reds 4, bottom of the 8th in Cincinnati. Philly and Atlanta 4-4 going to the 8th in Atlanta. It'll be an 0-2 pitch to Johnson. Buchholz sets. Here's the pitch. And a breaking ball in the dirt blocked by Tolley. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Curveball there from Taylor Buchholz. With Bill Hall, a right-hand batter, on deck. Buchholz has allowed just 2 earned runs over his last 18 innings. Took a while for the roles to be sorted out in the Mets bullpen. Since they've been, things have gone very well down there. But again, it doesn't look like Isringhausen's available tonight. It'll be a 1-2 pitch and a check swing foul ball back to the screen. Off the bat of Chris Johnson. Milwaukee leads Pittsburgh 5-2 as they play the bottom of the 5th inning in Milwaukee. Jonathan Lucroy, his 2nd home run. Colorado 6, San Diego 2, bottom of the 4th in Denver. Troy Tulowitzki's hit his 10th. He is eligible to hit him against somebody other than the Mets. Cameron Maybin, his 4th for San Diego. 1-2 to Johnson. Wallace leads from first. Buchholz delivers. Curveball popped high in the air, foul down the right field line. That's going to slice into the seats and out of play. So still 1-2. Arizona at the Dodgers. Just underway. Arizona did not score at the top of the 1st inning. In the American League, Red Sox lead the Yankees 5-3, bottom of the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium. They only started an hour before we did. Is that typical?
Yeah. They play the longest games in the world.
Yankee-Red Sox games are great news for vendors. 1-2 to Chris Johnson. Buchholz to the belt. Outfield the other way. Here's the pitch. And a check swing foul back to the screen as he got jammed with a fastball. Adrian Gonzalez and Kevin Youkilis also homered in that game for the Red Sox. Russell Martin for the Yankees. Cleveland with 3 in the bottom of the 9th. Defeated Seattle 5-4. Detroit beat Kansas City 3-1. Justin Verlander actually was flirting with a 2nd straight no-hitter, but he lost it with 2 out in the 6th inning on a Melky Cabrera triple. 1-2 to Johnson. Buchholz sets. Now the pitch. And a curveball swung on and fouled into the mid of Tolley. Strike 3. 1 man out. Buchholz picks up the strikeout. And Bill Hall, the batter, he is 1 for 3. Singled in a run in the 6th inning. Tampa Bay beat Baltimore 3-0 behind Jeremy Hellickson, who went all the way on a 4-hitter. Matt Joyce and Johnny Damon with homers. After that 0-6 start, the Rays are now 23-15 and leading the American League East. So here's Hall. Right-hand hitter. Buchholz delivers. Curveball breaks inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Berto Quintero is out on deck. He, too, a right-hand batter. Infield, a double play depth. Buchholz bends down to his knees, picks up the sign from Tolley. Wallace leads from first. And now the 1-0 pitch to Hall. Down the middle for a called strike. It's 1-1. A fastball at 89 miles an hour. Rangers 4, Angels 1 at the end of 6 in Arlington. Elvis Andrus, Adrian Beltre, Eric Ibar, all with homers. Toronto and Minnesota scoreless after 6. That's in Minnesota. Chicago at Oakland are scoreless after 1 out in Oakland. Phil Umber, the former Mitters, pitched well against Brandon McCarthy. Here's the 1-1 to Hall. Line foul down the first baseline out of play. Into the second deck, and it's 1-2.
Taylor Buchholz has a runner at first. There's one out, 8th inning. Francisco Rodriguez starts to loosen up.
There's the answer. Speculated at the beginning of the inning whether or not Terry would consider going to him for a 4-out save, and the answer evidently is yes. 1-2 on Bill Hall. That's 5, Astros 4. 1 out, last of the 8th. That's trailed 4-0 going to the 7th. They've hit 3 home runs in this game. 1-2 the count. Buchholz to the belt. Now the pitch. And it's looped in the air down the first baseline, slicing foul. So, Buchholz working hard here against the former Milwaukee Brewer, Bill Hall. Had a few decent years with the Brewers before going on to Seattle 2 years ago, partway through the season. Played last year with the Red Sox. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Brett Wallace being held on at first by Murphy. Outfield around towards right. Buchholz with a 1-2. Fastball upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Buchholz, the 4th pitcher the Mets have used in this game. So Dylan G is off the hook. He went 5+. Gave up 5 hits and 4 runs. Igarashi an inning and a third without allowing a run, although 2 inherited runners scored. 1 on a hit by Hall, the other after an error by Murphy. And then an inning and 2/3, hitless and scoreless from Mish. Now Buchholz ready. 2-2 to Hall. Curveball popped up, foul again, coming back into the seats behind first. And Bill Hall is having an outstanding at-bat here against Taylor Buchholz, who may be getting a little frustrated. He just dropped his shoulders a bit. And Josh Tolley, recognizing that immediately, trotted out to the mound to pump him back up.
Also didn't like that last curveball. That was a hanger. That's something that Hall in his heyday probably puts a deposit on. That's why Tolley also wanted to go out there.
Now Buchholz having trouble putting Hall away here. Sweeps a little dirt off the rubber and climbs back up. Right behind the bag at third. Middle infielders at double play depth. Wallace leads from first. Murphy holding. Buchholz ready. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball chopped towards third. Waiting on it right. Gets a waist-high hop. Fires to first in time. Hall is out, but moving to second is Wallace. So 2 men away, and now the potential tying run is in scoring position. Humberto Quintero coming up. Let's see what Terry Collins does here. He's starting up the steps, and it looks like he's going to go to K-Rod and try to get a 4-out save. He has not made the initial motion yet because he just changed course, made a right turn. He's going to go to the home plate ump, Angel Hernandez, and I would imagine indicate a double switch, because he was headed towards that third base line and then veered to his right, and I believe he's going to change catchers as Ronnie Paulino will come into the game to catch K-Rod. 5-4 New York, 2-out runner at second, last of the 8th. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by freescore.com. 3 credit scores, 1 place, freescore.com.
These are the sounds of a Luxair air conditioning system. This is the sound of the condensing unit, the compressor.
Rodriguez comes into the game as part of a double switch with Ronnie Paulino going behind the plate, so the pitcher spot is now second. And left-hand hitter Brian Bogasevic will be the pinch hitter for Humberto Quintero. 5-4 New York. Wallace at second, 2 out, last of the 8th. First pitch is taken high and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Bogasevic is 3 out of 9 as a pinch hitter this year. This is a guy who went to Tulane and was a pitcher not only there but earlier in his pro career, and the Astros converted him. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed a changeup. He had a big swing and swung right over it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Francisco Rodriguez has converted 10 straight save opportunities. This one will have a different feel because he inherits a runner. That's how relievers got the nickname firemen in the first place. It's changed a lot over the years. 1-1 the count. Now the pitch. Bogusevic fouls it back to the left of the screen and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know, it used to be that your best relievers would come in as early as the 7th inning with men on base. In this town alone, we had 2 dandies. Tug McGraw with the Mets, Sparky Lyle with the Yankees, and they would put out fires. Nowadays, most closers start an inning, the 9th. So this is a 4-out challenge for K-Rod. The 1-2 pitch to Bogusevic. Hit on the ground wide of third, base hit, left field. Wallace around third will be held there by Dave Clark. As Babe plays it in quickly to right, and with 2 out, I think everybody in this ballpark anticipated that Wallace would be sent home. But perhaps gun-shy from problems earlier in the game, Clark put the red light up.
You know, what surprised me was the pitch that was given to Bogusevic. Because in many ways, I thought that on that previous foul ball, it looked like he got his hands, to the point where he jammed himself. And I thought they would come inside, not allow an outside pitch to be taken the opposite way, which it was. Mets are fortunate that run didn't score.
Jason Michaels just off the disabled list after a shoulder injury. A right-hand batter pinch hits for the pitcher. Fulcino, first pitch, fastball low, 1 ball and no strikes. So K-Rod is not going to make this one simple. And remember, we're only in the 8th inning. Wallace at third and Bogusevic at first with 2 men out, 5-4 New York. Michaels had made 5 rehab starts in AAA. The outfield straight away. The 1-0 on the way. Fastball foul back to the screen as he went reaching for 1 away. And the count 1-1. Michaels has had just 18 at-bats up with the Astros with only 2 hits. Former Philadelphia Philly. So, the tying run 90 feet away. Brett Wallace. Ryan Bogusevic at first being held on by Murphy. Outfield around towards right. K-Rod extends the arms. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball downstairs. Ball 2. Left-hand hitter Michael Bourne is on deck. 5 pitchers now used by the Mets. Wallace, the runner at third, belongs to Buchholz, off of whom he singled to start this inning. 2-1 the count to Jason Michaels. K-Rod sets. Now the pitch. Low outside, a fastball, ball 3. So 3-1 the count. And the Mets 1 short in the bullpen with Isringhausen in all likelihood not at all available. And there are only left-hand pitchers remaining out there, Burdack and O'Connor. 3-1 to Michaels. Rodriguez extends the arms. Here's the pitch. And it's hit on the ground, foul down the third base line. Full count. However, that means now that with 2 out, Bogusevic will have an automatic start at first base, which could come into play should Michaels drive a hit to the outfield here. That's trailed 4-0. They now lead 5-4, and K-Rod trying to keep them in front here in the 8th inning. He's already spent 9 pitches. 3-2 the count. Bogusevic will run from first. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a breaking ball, and that retires the side. First strikeout for K-Rod. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left, and at the end of 8, it's the Mets 5 and the Astros 4 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
Did you know Live Better?
We head to the 9th inning here in Houston. The Mets with a 5-4 lead. Right-hander Wilton Lopez will take over the pitching, and it's a new battery for the Astros as J.R. Tolles will work behind the plate after Bogusevic. Hit for Humberto Quintero. And so Wilton Lopez, the third pitcher for the Astros, 27-year-old out of Nicaragua, in his 3rd year with Houston, as we come to you live from the Peerless Boilers broadcast booth. Visit peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you. Jason Bay leading it off here in the ninth. Righty against righty. First pitch, breaking ball on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Bay started the comeback. Remember, the Mets were down 4-0, but he hit a 2-out solo home run in the 7th inning. The 0-1 on the way. Bouncing ball foul down the third baseline. 0-2. Wilton Lopez in his 12th game, 0-1 with an earned run average of an even 4. What did you say, 404 feet? Was that the
406.
On 406 feet. I want to cheat, Jason. 406 Canadian. And here's the 0-2 to the Vancouver Canuck fan. A fastball inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It'll be Bay, Murphy, and Turner due up for the Mets here in the 9th inning. And the Astros will have the top of their order up in the bottom half. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit in the air. Left center field on the run Bourne. And he makes the catch as the center fielder who can cover ground. He's fast. Was able to get there in plenty of time for the first out. Daniel Murphy coming up. Tickets for the inaugural soccer match at Citi Field featuring the national teams from Ecuador and Greece on Tuesday, June 7th at 8 p.m. are on sale now. Call 718-507-TIXX or visit 507TIXX.com now for your tickets.
Mets need Daniel Murphy to start hitting again, especially since he's playing first base.
0 for 3 tonight. Takes the first pitch for a called strike. 0-1, a fastball.
Yesterday he batted in the number 5 spot and struck out twice, hit into a double play. And as you mentioned tonight, hitless.
And the pitch back. Change up low, 1-1.
I like the move by Terry Collins to insert either Josh Tolley or Justin Turner in that number 2 slot and make Murphy be in an RBI situation. But that has not panned out yet.
There's the 1-1. Breaking ball hit in the air to left field, fairly deep, such as it is in this park. And Lee makes the catch astride ahead of the warning track. Again, as you move towards that left field corner, remember it's only 315 feet down the line. Now, David Wright spanked his home run. He hit it hard, but at Citi Field, if that ball's not caught altogether, it's off the wall. And with all of the home runs that David has lost to right center field, particularly at Citi Field, he will gladly take it. And, I mean, he was all over that slider. It was a tracer of a home run. But, again, different ballparks will produce different results. So 2 out, nobody on, and Justin Turner, the batter, 1 for 3. First pitch, curveball line to left field, base hit. Waiting on it is Lee to backhand it. And Turner with his second hit of the game holds on at first. 7th hit of the game for New York. And Jason Pridey, the batter. Remember, Ronnie Paulino is in this game and is batting in the 9th position, so he will be on deck once Pridey steps in. Mets would love to get some insurance here because Bourne, Barmes, and Pence, the top of the order with Carlos Lee 4th, will be due up in the bottom of the 9th for Houston. First pitch to Pridey. Low inside, blocked in the dirt by J.R. Tolles, and it's 1-0. Pridey now 0 for his last 15. Carlos Lee made an excellent catch on Pridey his last time up. Left-hand batter, they play him to pull. Wilton Lopez comes set. Now the 1-0. Change up, ripped towards the gap in right center field. That is going to be in for a hit. It's going all the way to the wall. On his way to third, Turner. He's being waved home. The relay throw will come into third base as scoring standing is Turner. And on at second with a double and a run batted in is Jason Pridey. And the Mets have a huge insurance run. It's 6-4 New York.
Friday has tremendous power. In this instance, it was gap power. That is a long way to go cover that ball from Michael Bourne. I don't care how fast he is. Turner with 2 outs had the luxury of 2 outs and was sent, and he scored easily. That's a strange throw in from Bill Hull at third base.
Well, you figure with 2 out, everybody's looking for that play at the plate. But instead, the throw went to third, and so now here's Ronnie Paulino with another runner in scoring position. 6-4 New York. First pitch. Off the outside corner, ball 1. So somewhere around here, Justin Turner is safe and secure in the Mets dugout. Your family can be safe and secure, too, with financial protection from New York Life Insurance Company. They've helped keep families safe and secure since 1945, don't you know? Visit NewYorkLive.com. Here's the 1-0. And a breaking ball on the inside corner. Strike one call. Jason Pridey breaks an 0 for 15 with a huge hit. Paulino has had 22 at-bats with 10 hits, a .455 average since rejoining the club. 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Tolles. Pridey will hold on at second. And the count 2-1. Oh, each team now with 8 hits. And again, you look at the Mets bullpen, it certainly is quite a contrast with the Astros. We told you from the very beginning when Norris came out of the game, they were getting into some Badlands territory in that Houston bullpen. Didn't take long. 2-1 pitch, curveball swung on and missed 2-2. Well, Chino gave up the 2-run, 2-out homer to David Wright, the second batter he faced in the 8th inning. That put New York in front. And then the next reliever out of the pen, Wilton Lopez, after getting the first 2 here in the 9th, giving up the single to Turner and the RBI double to Pridey. Now it's 2-2 to Paulino. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3, side retired. However, the Mets score what they hope will be an insurance run on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. Middle of the 9th inning, it's the Mets 6 and the Astros 4 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. We head to the bottom of the 9th here at Minute Maid Park in Houston. The Mets 6, the Astros 4. Francisco Rodriguez trying to pick up a 4-out save. It cost him 10 pitches to get through the 8th, giving up a pinch single to Brian Bogasevich. And then striking out pinch hitter Jason Michaels faces Michael Bourne, left-hand batter. David Wright in tight at third. First pitch is low outside, 1-0, a fastball. Bourne, Barmes, and Pence due up here in the 9th. Wright stays on the grass against the speedy left-hand hitter Bourne. The 1-0 pitch. Line to right field, base hit. Over towards the line comes Beltran, but Bourne with the Astros down 2, not going anywhere. He'll just hold on at first with a well-struck leadoff single. K-Rod just hates making it easy, doesn't he? When his first, 14 appearances without throwing a 1-2-3 inning. And here for the second straight inning, he's given up a hit to the first batter he's faced, and now the Astros bring the tying run to the plate in Clint Barmes. Right-hand batter. A-Rod extends the arms. First pitch. Taken on the inside corner, a fastball. A called strike 1. Now, as speedy as Bourne is at first, there's no need to be preoccupied with him. His run really doesn't matter. The Mets have a 2-run lead here. And the outfield is deep in no doubles. Barmes is the tying run of the plate. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Curveball popped in the air to right field. Easy play for Beltran waiting. He makes the catch, 1 man out. And now a couple of big boys, Hunter Pence and Carlos Lee. Pence may well be putting a 15-game hitting streak on the line here. He is 0 for 3 with a walk. And then, of course, you've got Carlos Lee behind him. Pence is 1 for 2, including a home run in the past against Francisco Rodriguez. Infield, a double play depth. They'd love a ground ball here. Throw to first, and Bourne is back standing. Again, K-Rod would like to keep him close by a step, but his run doesn't matter. Hunter Pence is the guy he's got to get here. And then Carlos Lee behind him. And of course, the outfield remains very deep with that tying run at home plate. First pitch, curveball in for a called strike, 0-1. Pence will walk around outside the batter's box. Mentioned a comparison with former Met George Theodore and Pence earlier in the game. They're built similarly. They both wore anyway, in Theodore's case, the same uniform, number 9. Pence a much better hitter. Here's the 0-1. Fastball fouled back to the screen. Good pitch by K-Rod there. He got in on Pence's hands. And Rodriguez ahead now. No balls and 2 strikes. K-Rod just grabs a new ball from home plate ump Angel Hernandez and climbs right back up onto the rubber. As Pence goes through a few gyrations as he settles into the batter's box. Knees bent, measuring short practice swings. K-Rod comes set. Bourne leads from first. The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball outside. And low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So once again, Pence goes for a little stroll. Wears his uniform pants pulled up just about to his kneecaps, showing a lot of dark black Astros socks, which so few players on either team do anymore. Pence now taking a longer practice swing. He's ready. K-Rod sets. Delays. Now the 1-2. Fastball into the dirt. Backhanded by Paulino. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Pence, with Carlos Lee waiting on deck. And again, Pence will step outside the batter's box. He's done that after every pitch. Taps the bat across home plate as he settles back in, with Rodriguez waiting for him. Now Frankie Rodriguez brings the hands together. The 2-2 pitch. Runner goes. Pitch low in the dirt. Off Paulino's glove to the backstop. Stopping at second with a stolen base is Bourne. But more importantly, since that run doesn't matter, the count, which was 0-2 to Hunter Pence, is now full. And that is the most important aspect of that play. Yes, it takes the double play off as the stolen base on a ball hit on the ground. But again, Pence represents the tying run, and K-Rod's making this awfully tight. Bourne, hands on hips, walks a lead off of second. Rodriguez has now run it full to Hunter Pence. 6-4 New York, 1 out of the 9th. K-Rod ready. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Oh, boy. Paulino just couldn't hold on. He had him struck out, but Paulino just could not hold on to that foul tip by Pence. Just did get a piece of the slider. So on we go at 3-2. K-Rod raring to go. Now he's set. Here's the payoff pitch to Pence. Curveball popped up. Shallow center. Charging in Pridey. Going out Turner. Pridey, the center fielder, makes the catch. 2 men away. The K-Rod has one more tough one to go. And that is Carlos Lee. Lee with 1,999 career hits. Not to mention 334 lifetime home runs.
Well, that was such a terrific curveball that he threw Pence. He felt like he waited forever. And then when he finally swung, he hit the bottom of the ball.
Well, K-Rod will gladly take the same result here from Lee, who's had 2 for 3, plus a sacrifice fly. He scored a run. He was thrown out at the plate, and he's 1 for 5 in the past against Rodriguez. 6-4 New York, 2 out, bottom of the 9th. Bourne at second. The first pitch to Lee. Fastball down the middle, strike 1 called. An 88-mile-an-hour fastball. Left-hand hitter Brett Wallace is on deck. Mets 6, Astros 4. The Astros led 4-0 going to the 7th inning. Rodriguez sets. Bourne walks off of second. Here's the pitch. And it's in for a call strike. It's 0-2. A 90-mile-an-hour fastball that Lee didn't like the call. He thought that ball was up. But now it's 0-2.
You might be right. Angel Hernandez hasn't called that strike much at all tonight.
Well, with a runner at second whose run doesn't matter, K-Rod can play around with a breaking ball or change up in the dirt here. 0-2 the count to Lee. Rodriguez kicks and deals, and it's low outside, a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was actually the hardest pitch that he's thrown tonight, a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. For the veteran Carlos Lee. 6-4 New York in the 9th inning. Rodriguez looking for a 4-out save. He's thrown 23 pitches. Now K-Rod ready. Checks Bourne at second. The 1-2 pitch to Lee will have to wait as K-Rod wheels and chases Bourne back to second. And again, the preoccupation with Bourne is unnecessary. With a 2-run lead, the guy you've got to get is at the plate, Carlos Lee. 1-2 the count. Now Rodriguez ready. Bourne leads from second. K-Rod looks that way. Now the pitch. And a fastball off the glove of Paulino rolls to his right, and Bourne will go to third. That should be a pass ball. Again, it doesn't matter. With Bourne's run really not meaning anything. And it is a pass ball on Ronnie Paulino. But the count 2-2 to Carlos Lee. The outfield extremely deep. Jason Pride's playing in Galveston. 2-2 to Lee. Rodriguez kicks, delivers, low outside, ball 3, a fastball.
They have stayed away from the breaking pitches to Carlos Lee.
And now the count full with a left-hand hitter, Brett Wallace, and a good one on deck. 3-2, the count to Lee. Bourne leads from third. Here's the pitch. Curveball fouled back to the screen. That was a curveball that was up. And Lee had that expression afterwards that I could have done some damage there. Oh, boy. I just looked at a replay. That was a hanger. And now some goofball has run out of the stands. And he's trying to climb up and over the fence out in center, and he does.
For now.
Yeah, they'll wait for him. Give him a little Texas justice here. Now we'll have a little more of a delay because this clown is now climbing up onto the batter's eye in center field and trying to climb up another fence. And I don't know why the crowd always roots for the guy who delays the game when it's on the line, but for some reason they think that guy's the hero. Maybe Frankie Rodriguez doesn't mind the break a little bit, although I doubt it. Generally, pitchers get into their rhythm and their tempo, and they don't want to be slowed down. But, you know, it's been a struggle. He's thrown 26 pitches. The security people who hustled out on the field to try and challenge that nincompoop are first making their way off now. So the home plate ump, Angel Hernandez, goes over to Francisco Rodriguez. For what reason, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't understand why the fans cheered either.
But the game remains in the balance. 3-2 to Lee. 6-4 New York. Bourne at third, 2 out of the ninth. K-Rod ready. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled back to the screen. That pitch was up. I think that was a changeup. And if it wasn't, it was a flat slider. And so the duel continues. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 6-4 New York, bottom of the ninth. Bourne leads from third. Rodriguez drops the arms, kicks. Here's the payoff pitch, pulled on the ground to third. Wright's got it at the chute tops, throws to first, put it in the books. The New York Mets, who trailed 4-0 going to the 7th inning, have come back to defeat the Astros 6-4. They hit 3 home runs, a solo shot by Jason Bay, a pinch hit 2-run home run by Fernando Martinez, and what turned into a game-winning 2-run home run in a 4-run 8th inning from David Wright, as Francisco Rodriguez points to the sky, exulting in the Mets 6-4 win. We'll pause quickly for station identification on the WFAN Mets 100 mark. And for appearing with Ed Coleman, Jason Bay receives a gift certificate to A.J. Maxwell's, located on 48th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues. A.J. Maxwell's, expect a warm welcome, great food, a winning wine list, inviting atmosphere, and world-class service. And when Jason goes in there, I'll bet they'll put the Canucks Sharks game on for him. Mets win at 6-4. We'll have a recap next on the WFAN Mets.
You probably think you're a big shot going off like this. But you're still a punk.